All right, so what's up, guys? Everybody is probably already well aware of the whole like xQc versus Ethan Klein thing that's going on. If you aren't, Ethan Klein is essentially accusing xQc of being a content thief and like an awful human being. Blah 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 blah. They actually get on a xQc actually comes on to Ethan's podcast and tries to debate him, which it goes about as well as you could expect it to go. In fairness to XQC, he's not somebody who usually engages in like debate, so he probably he's like just a normal streamer, a reaction streamer. He's not somebody who, you know, well defines their position and then creates a bunch of arguments to then defend it. He's used to like arguing with chat or like another like smaller um another like smaller streamer or person who's not in the like political sphere, the debate sphere, right? So honestly, it went a little better than what I thought it was gonna go. To be totally fair, but let's get into his his discussion with Ethan.
So I just want to say first off, like I was saying, thank you for doing this. I think it's an important conversation to have, and I think you're the right person to talk to about it. Simply
Yes.
because I feel, and I think you would agree with this premise that you push the fair use value, or apparently you don't even care about fair use at all. And I don't want to put words on your mouth, so you can correct me where I'm wrong. But you seem to not care about it, or at least you push it as far as it can go.
What are these pops in the audio there, Ethan? Come on now. You have an entire team behind you. I mean, I can't really say anything about audio. Mine's fucking absolute dog shit, but I'm one random fucking tiny ass YouTuber slash streamer. Like, I don't, meh. So, like, I kind of can get away with it a little better, you know? I can kind of have trash tier audio, but you have an entire team. You've been doing YouTube for fuck a decade plus. Honestly, when did Ethan start YouTube? He's one of the like OGs, isn't he? But yeah, you have like an entire fucking team of people to do this. Come on now.
So you seem like the right person to talk about it with.
Okay, so I think there's 3 points to that. I don't want to get too debatey yet, but basically, I think I value a good life product, right? One, two. I think I'm the right guy because I do a lot of it. I do good reacts, bad reacts, but overall I do a high density of reacts. I do a lot of it. But on top of that, uh, against popular belief, I guess these days, I
So like he actually started out with like a decent argument of the inherently transformative nature of live reacting to a video, right? That's something that you can actually have a position with, right? You can say that just you being there and the community factor of it has some type of transformative nature to it. Especially when you're just doing it on Twitch and you're not re-uploading it to like YouTube or whatever. If you're just doing live React content on Twitch with a community, you have a pretty decent argument, I would think, that that's transformative in nature, right? That that makes it so that instead of just watching the normal YouTube video, you have a massive chat that's all communicating with each other and the streamer. You have a streamer then communicating with chat as well as giving their own like takes and their opinions on the video they're watching. Like that's something that you can actually try and form an argument for. Where he immediately then fails is that he openly admits that he makes some dog shit reactions. My brother.
ask for permission a lot, and I try to make an ecosystem where things are good and not conflictual.
Right.
See, and if you ask for permission a lot, which this point then comes up later on, right? If you actually ask for permission a lot, you should have you should have some evidence for that, right? Which I would have thought like again, we have to give XQC some credit here because he's not a debate person, right? I This is the only debate I know of that he's done. I could be wrong on that. I don't consume a ton of XQC content, but as far as I'm aware, he doesn't really get into debates, and this isn't a normal sphere for him. He's kind of out of his own depth, right? So we have to give him a little bit of credit. But I would think that you would be smart enough that if you know you're going to be pushed on something like whether or not you get any if you get any permissions from people to react to content, that you would then bring in some DMs or whatever, some emails, something to prove that you actually do get permission quite often. That would really deflate Ethan's argument on this a lot.
That's the main point. Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, that's all fair. That's all good. I want to make one. I guess I want to make one thing clear at the top, is that I want to focus on the YouTube uploads, because the Twitch streaming itself, I feel like, is too much of a gray zone, and there's industry standard. I would be less. I would be more hesitant to call what happens on Twitch.
That's actually a really good point that Ethan brought up. And for those of you who don't know, I'm not a fan of Ethan. I think Ethan, especially when he does his political content, when he does stuff like that, I absolutely despise him. I think he has absolutely no opinions in the political sphere that aren't created by Twitter or Hassan or like the people he surrounds himself with. I don't think he's just he's a grifter. Like that, in my opinion, that's what he does. He just wants to push whatever political narrative is best suited for him getting views and retaining his viewership that he already has, because he already created a leftist circle for himself way back when he started all this, right? So now he's just kind of like doubled down on it and gone more and more extreme just to keep that same audience. But it's a decent, so like I don't like him, but I have to give credit where credit is due, and that's a decent argument to make of like industry standard. So like YouTube already has, and he was part of this, right? That's why he's somebody that's so knowledgeable and so interesting to watch talk about fair use, is because he's probably one of the only YouTubers that I'm aware of that has actually been to court and won a court battle over fair use. So obviously he's got some type of expertise in it, being that he's been there, done that. But the Twitch React content is a little different, because it would be a lot harder. In a court, you have to prove, like, not only that this isn't fair use, but then they look at like the industry, right? They look at the entirety of Twitch and see that Twitch just does this, right? And nobody else is complaining and nobody else is having issue with it. So it makes your court case a lot more difficult to push through if there's no one else doing anything, right? If everyone is doing the exact same shit, then it makes it a lot more difficult. Not impossible, and it's not necessarily like that'll just kill your court case, but an industry set standard is something that definitely an argument that could be used in court. And I mean, most likely, if this would to ever go to court, that's one of the first things that a lawyer is going to point out, is like, look, my client is doing the same thing that 30,000 other people on Twitch are doing. And it's like, wow, maybe at the very least, maybe we should look at it as an entirety instead of just a case by case type of deal.
A violation of any kind. So I just want to focus on what you upload to your YouTube channel. Is that okay?
Okay, so that's gonna be a yes and
that's
a no.
A fair argument,
because I truly believe that Twitch is somewhat of a competitor on VODs. If Twitch didn't have VODs, then that'd be wrong. That'd be right. But Twitch has VODs, and all the VODs stay up. When people react, they leave the VODs up. It's quite the same thing as being able to watch or listen to music on stuff that remains in the VOD.
Okay, that's true. But just for the sake of this conversation, I just want to focus on, because like from a legal perspective, and I know you don't really care about the legality of it, and that's fine. But I just want to focus on like the YouTube videos as they stand as like a product. I understand that the VODs are on Twitch, and that would create an inherent problem as well. But just for the sake of the conversation, to keep things clean and keep us from getting too messy, that's my focus. If that's okay with you.
Okay. You know what? Okay. Just for the sake of having a good argument, I'll do that. Except for when the topic matters.
Sure.
Right. It really matters. If it doesn't, overall, fine. But there are certain points that like it plays a big role into it. If it's too big, I think I want to ignore it. But
you know what? That's 100% fine. I guess I'm just saying that for myself, so that when I'm talking, you understand that I'm talking about your YouTube channel and not making general statements about what's happening on Twitch. Okay?
That's fair. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I guess my first question for you to start is that do you think your work is transformative? Of course, that's one of the main tenets of fair use. Do you think your work is transformative?
Yes.
You do.
Yep.
Wait.
Here, I mean, okay, because I was watching you yesterday, and here you said it's absolutely not transformative. Here it is.
You don't have to care. That's totally fine. But do you agree that you've created non-transformative reactions?
100%. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. We
See, and right off the bat, like Ethan does such a poor job at starting this off, right? Do you think that your work is transformative? xQc says yes. So that's a majority take, right? That is, do you think your work is transformative? I would take that immediately as, for the most part, or like let's say 99% of my work is transformative, right? Nobody's going to think like, oh, that means that 110% of my fucking work is always transformative at all times. Like this then clip that he uses is a clip where he's asked, do you agree that you have sometimes creative, maybe not so transformative work? And it's like, well, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, I could concede that. And he's like, look, see, you don't do transformative work at all. Like you're taking two different spectrums here. You're taking like a really hardcore, like the vast majority of my work is transformative, to like, yeah, sure, I could see how I make non-transformative work sometimes. And like the fact that xQc doesn't fucking nail him on this is so fucking bad for him. Like, Ethan started this off bad. You started with a W, xQc. You started with a fucking W, and you just let him walk with it. Again, probably part of him not being an active debate person, an active discussion type of person that just kind of doesn't really do this. So he's not gonna like pick up on that and be like, oh hey, wait a minute, these are two different things that you're comparing. Fuck off. Like, no, you're not allowed to just walk with that. All right.
You've agreed.
So here you say you've 100% made non-transformative reactions. Did you change your mind?
And this is where you should have just nailed him on that and been like, well, look, I mean, not all 100%, not 110% of my work is always transformative at all times. Like, fair. But the majority is.
No, absolutely not. I didn't change my mind. The whole point is that nevers are really bad, because I think we all have stuff that is not transformative. If you do a full-on yes or no, I just kind of like play with the question, and that was kind of like
so, but your work is not fully transformative. Some of it is not, by your own admission.
Yeah, some of it is less reactive. Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
See, and he does kind of hit him with it. He does kind of, he says the whole, I don't deal with fucking absolute yes or no questions, right? Like, I can concede that some of it is at least up to scrutiny of maybe not being completely transformative. And again, he's just kind of letting Ethan like roll with the narrative, right? He's not forcing Ethan to actually double down and be like, look, this is exactly what I'm talking about, and I'm going to define exactly what I'm saying, which is where he could have really gotten Ethan on, but he just didn't.
So
like, he hit him a little bit with it, but he should have stayed on that point right here where Ethan is trying to just like walk away from it. And like right now he's walking away with because this isn't like an actual debate. This is a gotcha fucking debate. All right. This is Ethan wanted him on to just fucking call him names and be like, haha, you thief, fuck you, motherfucker. Like, this is the point where xQc should have just doubled down on it and be like, no, we need to sit here and we need to actually define what it is you're talking about. Like, let's do like some like number comparisons, right? Like, is 100% of my work always transformative? 100% of the time? Probably not. I mean, it'd be stupid for any content creator, especially somebody like xQc who does content all fucking day, to be like 110% of my work is always transformative. I've never ever been non-transformative. Like, you can't make that argument, because that'd be an insane standard to uphold. But if he actually sat there and said that, Ethan would have had to, back down a little bit and be like, hey, okay, fine. What numbers would you say of your work is transformative? And he could have gone away with saying 95%. At least, including live and YouTube content. I'd say 99 or 95% of my work is always transformative. And there's no real way for Ethan to combat that. Now it would have looked a lot more, because then Ethan probably would have just said, well, no, you're because he says it later on, you're a prolific fucking content thief. Fuck you. There's no way 95% of it is transformative all the time. And they could have sat there and like argued about that a little bit, and it would have made Ethan look super fucking petty and like he was just doing this for a gotcha debate instead of actually like bringing up real shit.
So in that regard, do you care at all about like IP or copyright, or like the fact that it's illegal? Does that matter? If that it might be illegal, does that matter to you?
No.
It doesn't matter.
Well, if flat out doesn't, because
Well, that's fair. That's totally fair. And so because it doesn't matter to you, I don't think there's any point to really even discuss.
And this is another part where he should have made Ethan define exactly what they're talking about. All right, he should have said, because from all the videos that I've watched of xQc so far, it's not that he actually doesn't care that it's illegal. He thinks that the laws are bad, the laws are old and just shitty, right? And they need reworked. We need a better system. If he would have stated that, he would have looked, oh my god, he would have looked so much better. You know what I mean? Like, he would have just looked so much better if he would have told Ethan, well, no, hold on. It's not that I don't care that it's illegal. It's that I don't agree with the current laws and the current standards that we have. I think that there needs to be a better system. All of these things were done like before like live content was really at the peak that it is now. Now we have a completely different avenue of getting content. Now we need to relook through these laws and through these rulings and see like, how do we integrate live content into this? He would have looked 100 times better. And that's what I think he actually believes. Again, I'm not xQc. I can't really speak for him, but from what I've watched, that's what he thinks. And the fact that he just goes with this because he knows it's an argument, like the legal argument is not an argument that he could win. But again, he could have looked a lot better if he would have nailed down exactly what he meant and what he thought, versus just going, yeah, no, I don't care about legality. Fuck legality. Like, now you just look like you're like, yeah, no, it makes you appear like you're more, I don't care about the law because I'm above the law. Fuck the law. I'll just pay my way out of it. And like, that's what he kind of goes into later on, and it makes him look really shitty.
Well, I can elaborate a little bit.
Go ahead, please.
And open the door a tiny bit, just to give you a general angle. I truly believe that usually the people that enforce it are the ones that have a problem with it, right? The problem with the nature of the content itself. Because in terms of legality, right? Technically, if I'm playing some Telltale game, well, I mean, they could take me down anytime they want, right? Because that's their game, and I'm yoinking their stuff, right? So legality-wise, they could clap me for everything I've got, but for just playing their game.
See, and I don't actually think that's even true. I mean, if it were, then things like Nintendo would have actually, you know, hardcore stopped people from playing their games. I mean, they've tried multiple times, but it usually doesn't work. They throw up fucking wrongful DMCAs all the fucking time. I don't think you can necessarily really, unless somebody literally just does a like no commentary walkthrough, not even a walkthrough, because a walkthrough like shows you how to play the game. So like a no commentary just playthrough of it, start to finish. There's no transformative nature to it whatsoever. You would have had the exact same experience, or at least, you know, 75% of the same experience as that person if you just played the game. If it is a personality playing the game, they're doing commentary, then that's transformative in nature. You are taking a game, playing through it the way that you would play through it, adding commentary. That's really hard to try and say like that's not transformative in nature, which is the main pillar of fair use. So this is a bad argument and a bad take, but it's not really xQc's fault. It's something that people keep on saying that I don't understand, because people like just believe that video game developers have the ability to just like copyright strike you or like take down your videos because you just play the game. I mean, I've watched several videos of some of different personalities playing the same games because I like the personalities. I don't watch it because of it. I've watched videos of people playing games that I've already played, through 100 times. I watch speedrunners. Like, you can't possibly tell me that the game is the reason that I'm watching them, right? It's not. Like, I don't watch, like, say, Bakba Soup for the fucking game that he's running, right? I've ran almost all the games he's ran. I'm a huge Resident Evil survival horror overall like speedrunner. I've loved doing it. But obviously, like if I just was there for the game, I would just play it, right? I wouldn't be watching him. I watch him for the personality. I watch him because it's fun to watch his videos. He transforms it into a way that makes it more entertaining, that makes me want to watch him, right? I've I ran Resident Evil 4. I know a million other fucking people that run Resident Evil 4. They're way better runners of Resident Evil 4 than Bach Basut, but I still watch him because it's more entertaining. He is the main attracting point to watching that content. It is not the game itself or anything. So I would qualify that as transformative. I think that would be a really hard argument to argue against.
Sure, yeah. But
Again,
obviously,
not
well,
XQC's
so
fault,
fair
though.
use is
That's a
decided on a
common
case-by-case
idea.
basis by a judge or jury. So it's hard to do big sweeping generalizations about what is and what isn't. But ultimately, if I understand your position, you don't really care about the legality of it. You're more like concerned with the philosophical thoughts of reacting to content.
The limitations of that is that I care enough about it to where it affects me, right? So I have to care because it's the legality of it, right? Like if somebody wants to strike down, wants to send out a claim, whatever, well, I have to act on that, right? So whether I care or not, that will happen,
Right.
and it happens all the time. Except I like to create an environment where I engage with people and content that are not going to do that because they believe in the mutually beneficial nature of the interaction, such as video games. Even though the video games could strike me and that they want for just playing their game on my stream.
Right. Right. And so, okay. So I think my point is that we can kind of skip this whole conversation and move on to the, because I think we both agree if we did a fair use analysis, and you admit that when you says it's not transformative, that a lot of the stuff you do would
Damn, I need to get
fail
a new
the
vape.
fair use test. So
Oh,
we're on the same
and-
page. Yeah.
And also a lot of your stuff too. So we're in the same boat pretty much.
Probably not as much. No.
So
See, and this is where xQc just kind of lets him walk with statements like this, right? He just lets him walk with well, we can just kind of skip the legality argument because you don't care about legality. You don't, you don't like the laws. And no, he doesn't even really say that. What exactly does he say? He's just basically like, you don't care about the legality of it. It's not a concern to you. So, like, again, that would be a really good place for xQc to be like, look, it's not that I am like above the law or anything. And he kind of says it in the way that like, I care as much as I have to, right? But that still makes you sound pretty fucking dickish, right? If you said, hey, look, these new ways of getting content, I think that's where we need to focus of like, hey, we need to look through all the old laws and like restructure them to better suit this new form of content that is so popular. That would make you look a lot better.
I did a little of stats. Maybe you don't want to hear it because you want to kind of la la la. But by density of content, with how much you upload as a person, as a channel, I upload this much, right? Overall, because I have a lot of runtime, you upload about this much. If you were to break down the percentage of non-transformative content, your ratio is almost higher as mine.
I have no idea what you're trying to say right now.
The way Ethan is being right here, and we're going to speed this up. We'll try to speed it up. I usually watch things at like 1.5 to 2x speeds, but with xQc's like really thick accent, I know people have a hard time understanding him to begin with. So I feel like if I up it too much, it's going to really, really be uncomprehendable to a lot of people. But like the way that Ethan's acting here, like, oh, I can't possibly understand what you're talking about. Like, what you're doing this and I don't know. Shut up, Ethan. You know what he's saying. He's saying that he makes a lot more content than you. Like, he streams for 8 to fucking 12, 16 hours a fucking day. I mean, xQc is online all the goddamn time. So he makes a lot more content than you. So he's talking about percentages. You make a lot less. So if you want to compare, it's better to compare percentages of transformative content rather than overall content, because if he makes, let's say, 10 hours a day of content to your 5, you make 50% fucking less content than him. He makes double yours, right? He makes, or 50, whatever. Fucking I'm retarded with math. It's fine. He makes double your content, right? So of course he's going to have more examples of non-transformative because he makes double your content. That's a reasonable argument. I don't think that that's like something you should just act like you're incapable of fucking understanding, but go off, Ethan, I guess.
You're gonna have to unpack that more. I don't understand this much, that much. You gotta have to explain that a little more.
So the content you upload on YouTube and on your channels, right? The things that are on YouTube, because you don't need Twitch.
Talk about my podcast?
Doesn't matter. Your content, the stuff that you upload, right? The stuff that you control and upload.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, sure.
So overall, if you add all the content you put out there, right? I have about that much because it's a lot of runtime. It's a lot.
I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. Do you have proof of that? Like you're just saying that much, this much. That seems a little silly.
I have one of the highest runtime across the internet in terms of like putting out content.
Oh, but fair use doesn't have to do with how long your stream is. It has to do with your commentary on the video. If your stream is 12 hours long and you're reacting to an 8-minute video, it doesn't matter. It matters what you said about the 8-minute video. It doesn't matter how long you stream for. So I don't understand your point.
So if you let me elaborate on my point instead of bringing the semantics, right? Because you could
semantics. That's how fair use works.
Okay.
I mean that was semantics of like this long. I don't know what that means. Like that again. xQc. I feel like a little bit of advice for xQc. I feel like you'd be better off for one, like outlining your debate, like what you want to do for your debate overall. Just outline just do like bullet points on like Notepad or whatever, right? Just fucking bullet points of things that you want to hit with some like random stats or facts that you want to interject into those different topics. And then also while you're talking, have another notepad open to just like type out notes. I mean, that's what I do all the time. That's what I've been doing, is like just typing out random different things to like see like maybe they come up later if they're relevant later. That way I can look at it and be like, hey, oh wait, this was said, like then I can bring it back around, right? So because xQc seems to have this issue where, and again, he's not a debater, so he's not as well experienced in this as Ethan would be. So like Ethan is able to kind of like set the pace and kind of just jump from topic to topic and kind of confuse xQc, and like xQc doesn't nail him down on anything, which is his biggest issue, is he just doesn't make Ethan sit and wait and like argue one point, right? Ethan's able to jump from here to here to here, like the whole semantics thing. Like obviously xQc was talking about when you're talking about the right? Like he was talking about that when you're talking about semantics, and he's like, oh well no, that's not semantics, that's how fair use works. Like as if he was if he was talking specifically about the things that Ethan had just said. No, he's going back to the very start of it. But again, xQc doesn't nail it down on that and be like, no, I'm not talking about that, you fucking absolute moron. Like, don't stop playing fucking stupid. Like, there's so many points where xQc could go so fucking hard on Ethan, but he chooses the wrong moments.
We're not even talking about the nature of the content yet. Fuck the content. It could be
hold on, just to be clear, you said you don't do fair use, but I don't also. So we're talking about fair use, just to be clear, right?
Okay. Let's reel back a little bit and stop being stupid for a minute and just kind of like listen. Okay.
I'm listening.
You said that I upload non-transformative content. Yes, you said that.
You said that too, but yes.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah. And I said that you do too, right? And I'm not saying so you would say, oh, but it's like a U2 double fault fallacy, right? But in the instance where you try to take a high road and say, well, I don't do this, guys. Well, you do. And my next point is that in the amount of content that you upload, you're non-reactive. There's actually quite a lot.
I don't know what that means. You have to stop saying that. It doesn't mean anything. You're just saying stuff.
Well, I'm saying that
you're just doing this. You do a lot of this and this. There's no stats. There's no data. I don't even know what you're referring to. I mean, if you want to talk about stats and data, there's one specific video that I just analyzed. Just picked one out of the lot.
See, he just jumps around and he's able to just do this freely. And I think it's a lot of because he knows his target right now is not an experienced debater. So xQc is out of his element and he's just kind of like trying to fucking argue out these different points as they come up. When in reality, xQc, next time you debate anybody, be like, no. You're not allowed to just walk away from this. You can get to whatever the fuck you're about to talk about in a minute. No, come back to this. We are going to like, no, you started to do it a little bit where you said like, let's go backwards a little bit and let's stop being fucking stupid. Like, you were on the right track. You just didn't deliver the final blow. You were right there. So close.
A rapper who got a $20 Anne Frank tattoo.
This is also retarded.
Let me just read off some stats and you can tell me if mine matches up or is worse. So this is a video uploaded to your channel 10 days ago. A rapper who got a a $20 Anne Frank face tattoo, okay? So
surprisingly, and this is an awful tattoo, but like for $20, I'm surprised it's even that good.
The original video's runtime is 9 minutes and 13 seconds. Oh, sorry, no. The original video is 8 minutes, 33 seconds, okay? The video here that you uploaded is 9 minutes, 13 seconds. That means you added 40 seconds to an 8.5-minute video, adding 7.8% runtime. Actually, I even did you a favor. I condensed all of your commentary on this specific video into just a short video because it's only 40 seconds. So I'll show this. Well, this is important because what you say, the commentary does matter. Because
before you finish, let me go. So you're about to prove me right. I said I do non-transformative dog shit, and you're about to show me non-transformative dog shit.
Okay, fair. So I don't have to show it to you.
I mean, go clap me because I mean I just said I did that.
Okay.
That's like saying I'm white and I'm on camera.
Well, you said that yours is more transformative.
Does homie have a Rust AK in the back? Is that a SAR too? Bro, what?
Than mine. So I don't understand the consistency or the point you're trying to make.
Now that you brought it up, I mean, sure, let's look
well, hold on, before you do that, let's just I do think it's interesting because the commentary.
I wonder if those are just like replicas and they don't actually function, or if like they're not like function like shoot, but like if they actually have like the ability to rack back and like unload magazines and shit like that. Like that'd be kind of cool. Like a functioning replica. That'd be pretty dope.
It does matter.
What? Where?
Get to notice
Music?
Arnold didn't have the best.
What the fuck am I watching? I mean, if that
tattoo was finished.
Wait, that's
the response.
that is pretty good actually. What the fuck? That guy's really good at that.
The argument every day that's
Bro, that crowd though. Is that Tana? What the fuck? I'm 22. What the fuck? What did you always be the dumbest Reddit comments? I guess. I thought they had like one song. Fair enough. Hey, that's legit. Shit. Well, anyway, he's like Kappa. He talks normally and shit. Wait,
feel good about themselves.
So that's the entirety of the commentary you added to his 8, and I think it's even fair. And I know you don't defend yourself on this, so I guess it's kind of a moot point. But the quality of the commentary, like you have to be commenting, analyzing, being critical of the content you're watching for it to be fair use. But that doesn't matter, right? Because you don't even believe it is.
I mean, not necessarily. You can just do a reaction to it and like add your own personality, and like there's tons of different ways that something can be transformative. You don't. Ethan is like harping back on this definition of transformative that like he used to defend against who the fuck was it that tried to sue him, or that tried to fucking copyright strike him and he fucking sued them. I don't remember exactly how it played out, but it was because he was taking videos and like analyzing and arguing with the person that he was, watching, which yeah, that's transformative. But also just again, like I said with the earlier statements of the video game players, like those streamers that do playthroughs of fucking games with different personalities, and they do things and like they interact with chat and everything, like that can be transformative in nature as well. It's not necessarily just argumentative. You don't have to like sit there and debate a fucking shadow debate somebody online over a video for it to be transformative.
I think you're right. I think you got me. So I think instead, I think we should get an example, one of your examples. Then.
Sure, I'd love to.
Let's get one of your examples that show me the guidelines. What I should do to react. How do I post that in chat? Can I post this right? Click on that. So instead of having my example of this, I think we should use yours instead, so I can learn how to be a better creator. How do you click on that?
Good idea. I'd love to check it out. Oh, I have to open it. Okay, I'll open it.
Yeah, it's in the chat.
1 second here. So yeah, you uploaded to your xQc clips channel. You uploaded 5. Dude, so you uploaded 5. Well, I just want to explain it.
I'll be honest. That rabbit in the background, this little fucking rabbit in the fucking green screen back there, like I don't know why, but that is the most distracting thing I've always said. Like. Every time that they use this green screen, I don't know how many times they've used it. I've seen it in at least like one other video, but every time I've seen it, like I've always noticed it. Like it draws the eye. Like every time they cut back and forth, I'm just like, rabbit, what is rabbit doing?
You uploaded 5 clips. Or wait, shit, you uploading this channel so fucking much.
Play it. So when it was my turn, you play my clip. When it's your turn, you don't play the clip and you just comment before seeing it.
No, I'm setting it up for you. I'm opening it. Here, sorry.
Why is a rabbit on the beach? Do rabbits normally fucking chill on beaches?
Now, is it okay if we watch this one? Ethan shows xQc how transformative reactions are done. Number 4. This is the one you uploaded.
Number 4 works. Oh, number 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all good. So here it is.
Like, I feel like rabbits normally, that might sound a little stupid, but like I feel like rabbits normally will stay more forested areas versus like closer to a beach, because I feel like that would be too open of an area, because then predators would fucking come down, and like rabbits are pretty easy prey.
So you can. Hours? Okay, King.
Jesus.
Finally over. Logan Paul.
Do you notice a problem already, Felix? There's a cut here. Okay, King.
Jesus.
Why is there a cut there?
Huh?
Yeah, there's a cut here.
So whenever you play my video, did I say, wait, Ethan? I think I've seen something on the screen right there. Is that pixel? Is that just play the fucking video, bro? Jesus Christ.
Okay, but it undermines your argument if you're showing an edited clip. If you're cutting out my commentary and then trying to say you do fair use, this seems a little silly. But I'll play it.
See, like. Oh, xQc, this is like parts that you did so poorly on, bro. Like right here, he literally just showed an edited clip, an edited video of you, and then he turns around and becomes a complete hypocrite and is like, well, you're showing an edited clip. Why would this doesn't support any argument? It's edited, therefore it doesn't work. Like, he literally just did the same thing to you. You should immediately be like, whoa, wait. But you can edit it. You can edit my stuff and then turn it into an argument, but I'm not allowed to do the same to you? Okay, makes sense.
Just play the video.
Jesus.
Finally over. Logan Paul apologized.
CoffeeZilla, your slang is, he is a lopsided journalist with an agenda, more like an internet criminal.
Oops, wrong video. That was the first response. He
There's
actually
10 seconds of him
apologized
sitting
in
there like a
another
moron.
response.
Look at this idiot.
Yeah, I mean, it's not high effort.
No. This is
editing
like
is not high
theft.
effort.
I mean, hold on. Here,
Hold on,
let me get
that's
a
not
taste
it
of this.
either.
He didn't talk about it. He's literally just sitting there quietly for the first 30 seconds. You should sue him. Fuck you, xQc, you thief bitch.
Turns out it's actually on his secondary channel.
So if you choose
I'll play the whole thing. Just let me know when to stop. If you want me to.
It's entitled
introductory
Thank You,
statement.
CoffeeZilla. It's the third
They
response.
could
Are
sue
no
you,
longer
and
being
they would be right to sue you, I think. They would be in the right.
I think so.
Thank you.
Paul, and it's a pretty big change in Logan's attitude so far. So let's see what he has to say to us.
CoffeeZilla is not a criminal.
I wonder what Ethan has to say, to be
He's
honest.
going to hire me.
What? Do you want to keep up?
I was wondering, the guy says, I wonder what you have to say. I wonder what you have to say about this. Because I'm
Okay.
watching you, you haven't said shit yet, so I mean...
Well, you told me to let the clip play. Do you want me to let the clip play, or do you want me to interrupt it? You got to choose a lane.
I was trying to be creative with it and kind of do comments at the same time, and I was asking the oldie Ethan, the guy that's morally above everybody,
okay.
high-roading, to react to it, but he's not saying shit, so there's like a problem with it.
Do you want me to keep playing it, or have you seen it? Okay, cool.
See, and like, this is probably the biggest, like, this is probably one of the best moments of xQc's arguments is Ethan literally says, oh, look, he just sits there and watches it for like 30 seconds, and then Ethan sits there and watches like a minute and a half of the video before saying a single word. Like, yeah, he had a little intro bullshit, but I mean, still, when you're gonna say, hey, you haven't spoken in 30 seconds of the start of the video, I mean, clearly he's live streaming, so there was commentary before the start of that video. So if you both have the exact same, you both have the same scenario, you both have commentary at the start of the video, and then you're going to criticize that he doesn't speak for 30 seconds into the video playing, and then you do a minute and a half of the video playing and not say anything. Clearly, that is, like, hypocritical there, right? Okay, so, like, but unfortunately, xQc doesn't, like, hit on that point.
But in all seriousness, this video
That's
Minute and a half
good
in, and
right
that's
there,
his
boy.
does have some
commentary.
major admissions in it I want to go
That's a
through.
good
For
one
one,
right
Logan
there.
apologizes to me.
I called him, I apologized.
My criticism of him right now is that he uploaded this to YouTube. Because I understand the nature of. I mean, live listen, streaming. it goes on. But I'm going to tell you, I find it really interesting that you think this is compelling. This is actually, first of all, there's so many cuts in it. It's not persuasive at all. But one thing I do want to ask you about.
Like, the fact that there's cuts in it doesn't actually matter because he's showing the entirety of the video, right? He's showing a sped up version of the video with the fucking, the time bar at the bottom running. So we can see where you start the video and where your first words into the video are. And then they cut when you say things like, oh, he doesn't speak for like 30 seconds into the video, and then they show that you don't speak for like a minute and a half into the video, and then he's like, what I find most appalling is that he uploaded this to YouTube, and then they cut and show like, oh, hey, look, this exact clip that we're watching, this was uploaded to YouTube. Like, the fact that there's cuts in it doesn't actually negate the argument. Stop fucking, again, he's just doing this because he knows he can get away with it. If it was somebody that was more experienced in debate and was more prepared for this argument, he would have gotten fucking destroyed on it. And I mean, I know that's Ethan's whole shtick, is that he only actually discusses people that like, or discusses things with people that are not experienced and people that are like easy fucking layups, right? He can't actually handle a real discussion. He never has. And whenever he does, he gets absolutely fucking destroyed on them.
Is why you cut out the beginning of the segment when I talked about it. Here's when I set up the video. Here it is. And
But you cut out the beginning segment of when of the video you're talking about, right? Like, are you gonna tell me that there's no commentary, there's no talking whatsoever when xQc uploaded, or when right before xQc did that clip? He might have cut it. Why do I keep doing that? He might have cut it out himself, but still, that's the same. It's the same situation, right? There was talking in the beginning that was left out, and neither of you talked for 30 seconds to a minute and a half into the video, and that's your complaint. So these clips are addressing the complaints that you're talking about and being like, look, you want to complain about this, but you do the exact same thing and then complain about it. You're a fucking hypocrite. Fuck off. Like, I don't think this is a very difficult thing to understand. And again, Ethan's just trying to walk away from it and be like, oh, look, you're stupid, blah, blah, blah. These aren't compelling arguments because he knows that xQc is not capable of really backing it up, unfortunately.
And the framing, what you say in the before and after is really important. So here's how that clip starts, Felix, which you cut out for some reason. Yeah, so Logan made a video
Well,
after
it's
he
fine.
got absolutely bodied for his response, where he's like, "I'm going to sue you. This is bullshit. You're
Why did you cut
defaming
this?
me. Oh, you played a video, an
So is
audio
that
that
a
was
pre-act?
recorded without
Is that
my
like
permission."
a-
Oh yeah, it's part of the same clip. You just went in and took out like 30-second slices from it.
So basically, what you're saying is that you're going to the bar, right? And this part is like where you get in and where you get like a beer or something like that, right? And the rest of it, you just fucking say fucking just. Basically, it's like the intro. So if you put an intro, you're good. Say, guys, I have a video
Dude,
today, guys.
so you don't
me.
understand how fair use works, and that's fine. But I don't know why you want to debate fair use when you don't care about it. Yes, what you say in the beginning matters, bro. You're analyzing, I'm contextualizing, I'm criticizing, I'm analyzing it. That's what fair use is. I'm transforming it. I'm not just sitting there and the audience isn't just watching the video while, you know, I mean, you do get up and go to the bathroom a lot. So I know that you want to,
So-
but that's fine because you don't care about it. But for you to think that this is
so
proof,
you use me as an example for your indebtedness.
He keeps again. This is something that it was so fucking important that he should have done at the very beginning. He should have nailed down the fact that it's not that he doesn't care about fair use. He thinks that fair use needs to be reanalyzed and addressed for live content creation. God, it would have saved so many of these fucking like little jab comments that Ethan does, and that's why he's so successful throughout this fucking debate. That's why so many people are trying to fucking take up sides with him, is because he keeps on doing these jabs of being like, "Look, you don't care about fair use. You're just over here like fuck the little guys, like fuck them, like fuck off, Ethan. You know what you're doing."
Is what you're saying, you just-
Felix, I don't. Do you think this clip is compelling? Do you see what I'm saying? That this example is really dishonest?
Okay, so in that clip, my editor edited your own words saying it.
Oh, can I ask
Okay.
you something? Your editor did this. Have you watched it?
Well, yeah, I watched it like you just
Oh,
did.
you
yeah.
did. Oh, you just
So-
watched it for the first time.
So the cuts.
Have you watched the unedited version on my podcast?
Yeah, it's
Okay. So then why was this removed?
If you don't let me talk, I mean, we're not gonna have a conversation.
Well, I
Go
just
ahead.
want to get. I just want to get to the point. You know what I mean? Because I don't want you to deflect. I want to know why you cut this part.
Then when you ask a question, you have to wait for me to answer. Otherwise, it's not gonna work.
You said, okay, go ahead, please.
Because
I
you asked a
apologize.
question, you did 2 times. It's okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
See, and like Ethan actually does a decent job at, you know, making sure that the conversation stays on the exact point that he wants, because he knows that he can get a little bit of a win here, right? He keeps on interrupting and being like, "Well, okay, so did you watch this before did you watch this video before coming on here?" "Oh, no." "Okay, well, why did your editor cut these clips out?" "Oh, well, because I'm just curious why they would cut those out, you know, the important, you know, start of the video, blah 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 blah." Like, it's so annoying because it's so easy to fucking argue against, but again, xQc just doesn't have the experience, and he wasn't prepared for this.
So there's 4 of them out of many of them, by the way. We only upload 4, so we don't want you to go crazy with the DMCA stuff. Basically, it's pretty much a lot of it is spliced and it's back to back. So yeah, there is a cut. Like,
Yeah, so-
it's like you're pausing a video, but it's the same thing. You go in such a 2.5, 3
You
minutes.
haven't proven that. But here's what I will say.
Well, go get the one. Go get the one from Meat Canyon. That one is you.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
You combo mustache twiddling, hair, and neck skin, and you do like this.
Yeah.
And
Here's
you get all sorts of things. And that's major react, bro. I have to get it to
So
you.
right.
That's
No, you're right.
perspective.
You're right.
That's insane.
You understand this concept because you talk about it all the time. Meat Canyon is my friend who gave me permission to react.
Oh, so it's not permission then. So now we're going to go post.
Well,
so
hold on. It is. Hold on. Before we move on, I just want to make it clear that when you're accusing me of not adding enough commentary, that you did upload a clip that's deceptively edited, and I mean, frankly, dishonest. Why did you cut this beginning part?
Okay, so Ethan.
Why did you cut this?
Unfortunately, the problem that I have right now.
See, he
is
really
saying
wants to
now,
nail
like,
him on
all
that
this
part.
Whatever, right? But it's quite literally you in the video.
He wants to nail him on that part, despite the fact that, again, they're just comparing the exact same thing. Like, obviously, there was talking before xQc's video, there was talking before your video, but you're both picking up from when the fucking video was started. So it doesn't really matter that there was commentary beforehand, because your argument was he sits there for 30 seconds and doesn't say shit throughout the video. Like, if he would have just said that, it would have shut down this whole fucking bullshit argument that Ethan is trying to walk away with.
It's edited.
There's cuts in it. It's not the video. How is if there's cuts in it? How is that a representation of my analysis?
All right, then examine Exhibit B.
And this is exactly why, like, the whole fucking out of context thing, that's exactly why almost all of my videos, I include, like, every single bit of the video, right? Even if there's, like, 30 seconds or a minute of, like, somebody just talking about some random-ass bullshit that it really doesn't matter, that doesn't have anything to do with the actual video, I keep as few edits to it as possible when I'm talking about, when I'm, like, analyzing a video or, like, arguing against it, because the amount of people that will watch that video but not the original, right? They'll just see, like, or their response to that video or something, like, they just see that and they're like, "Oh, well, this person cut right there, clearly they cut out a bunch of context," and the fucking response to it will be like, "Yeah, they cut out a bunch of context," and even though it's not true, like, even though the cut part doesn't matter, they'll still use this argument of, "Well, you put a cut in there, so clearly you're not trustworthy, fuck you." Like, okay. So I just don't
I already
do it.
told you I had permission.
Okay.
So why do I need to look at that?
So now it's about permission. All
I
I'm
just
saying,
wanna-
Another part is, like, if you already had permission and you knew, like, this was like an agreement between you two, you and what is it, Meat Canyon or whatever, you probably should have brought that, considering you know about these clips. You knew, like, as soon as you fucking opened it, you're like, oh yeah, you did like 4 or 5 of these, right? And like, so you knew that these existed. You have an entire team that works for you that does like research and shit on these topics. So you should be the most prepared as possible. You should already have an email, fucking text message, a fucking Twitter DM. Like, you should have something on there already ready to bring up. They'd be like, look, he explicitly gave me permission to do these. Explicitly told me that I'm allowed to react to his content. I mean, that would have just been a good thing to have for your argument. I think xQc should have been like, well, okay, well, where's the permission? Show me it. Because if you're just going to go off of, oh, well, I think that we're friends and therefore we're allowed to react to each other's stuff, like, you still don't have permission. So this whole permission argument, we can just fucking throw it out the fucking window because it doesn't matter at this point, because clearly you're doing the exact same thing.
Aspect, yeah.
In the video, you're trashing me. You say he's sitting there for 40 seconds without talking.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of your major concerns or criticism. It's why it's highlighted so much in the video. That's a big hit you do at me. And I'm going to show examples of you multiple times where you go not only 40 seconds, you go 2 minutes without talking. So then, I don't have to argue against you. You have to argue against yourself because these are your own words.
Well,
and you watch your own video.
so here's what I'll say about that. You're right, because the 40-second thing is not a good analysis. That wasn't a good thing I said, because when you're considering fair use, you consider it in the totality of it.
Take it back.
No, you still are a content thief, in my opinion.
Take it back.
That's not what he's asking.
Why would I
you to
take it back?
Because if you're going to reel it back and say,
no, I just said that wasn't a good analytical point. I still think you're a content thief.
Okay, but so take back what you said then.
Why? I believe it. I know I am. I apologize for the 40-second thing. I don't think it was a good analysis.
Okay. You want to go with the other comments that you made or not?
Huh?
You want to go with the other comments that you made or not?
Which comment?
We could go to all of them. Because you're wrong. You're wrong across the board. Every behavior you call me out on, you have done in those videos.
Okay, if you say so. But why do you want to? Okay, hold on. Let me ask you a question. Why does that matter? Why does that matter?
Okay, because earlier you said, do you care about this all the time? Not all the time? And I gave you an answer. You were like, got him. He said not all the time, when you seem to be the guy who doesn't do any stealing or thieving. And I have 4 examples right there. And
you did not show an example.
Well, then get another one then.
Well, that's not my job. You're the one that's trying to prove it. Why the fuck should I go pursue and try to prove I don't do fair use? That seems stupid.
Wait, that seems like that's exactly what you guys have been doing on Twitter and whatnot, right? Is that your whole concern?
Yeah, I'm showing stuff about you and not telling you to go find a video of yourself not doing fair use. That's moronic.
So you said thief, right?
Yeah.
Show me one.
I just did with the Anne Frank one. You did 44 seconds of commentary on an 8-minute, 30-second video where you offered no critical analysis.
And I wonder how much of that video actually he's talking throughout the video while it's playing. He showed this 40 seconds because he said that it increases it by like 40-something seconds, right? So 40-some seconds added on to that video. So he only showed a small clip and he's like, oh, I boiled all your commentary down. Like, I wonder if that video, I wonder how accurate that really is. I should go through and check that out.
And you don't have permission?
Did you have permission for that?
Yeah, maybe I didn't.
So why don't you tell? Wait, why won't you tell me? Did you or didn't you?
I'm just saying, are we moving the goalpost there now?
It's not a goalpost. It's just another facet of the conversation. It's not a goalpost.
It quite literally is when you make it a goalpost.
Okay, I do want to talk about the permission thing, okay?
There
but
you
I
go.
I do want to say one thing. In my career, in my 10
When the Anne Frank
we saw this a little bit
first went viral back in 2017, articles provided only a brief description of the person wild enough to do it. So we lined up a full interview with the rapper to get the full story of the Anne Frank face tattoo. When the idea first came about, Arnold is Dead had recently dropped out of college.
But then I tried the college thing. I didn't make it past the first semester.
And was couch surfing around Los Angeles by creating frame music for
Where?
artists who'd let him stay over. Around the same time, Arnold began to notice the rise of the sound rap genre.
You had the Smoke Perps, the Lil Pumps, the Ski Masses, the XXXTentacion.
After which he began to emulate that kind of lifestyle. However,
I genuinely don't care about this video other than the fact that I want to see like, how accurate
the Mona Lisa on his neck. Blueface had gotten
Ethan was in describing it.
To make an even bigger statement. As a college dropout with no permanent residence, Arnold had the best relationship with his family.
Your mom kicks you out of the house. She thinks you're a piece of shit. Your dad doesn't. He thinks you're a piece of shit. None of your siblings talk to you.
Which not only led to a problem with substances, but also a bout of deep depression.
Got to the point when you're young and you're under, the influence, you're not making the clearest of decisions. You're not, it's a really dark place.
It was at this point that Arnold realized he wanted a permanent reminder that someone else had it worse than him, and as a result, he chose a portrait of someone who'd had it worse than everybody else. Later stating in an interview with The Sun, there are people in history that didn't have the power to control, to actually do things they wanted to do with their lives. To be stuck in a house and end up dying. Dude, I'm dying to make music. That's the way I look at it. It's very black and white. Recognized as one of the world's most famous tragedies. Arnold
so almost 2 minutes in, and he said like
the Eureka light bulb
a handful of things, maybe like 10 seconds worth.
Reminder where I was like, whenever you feel down and bad, bro, like on his bro. It was like a thing for me.
Although instead of going to a professional tattoo studio, he instead opted for a much riskier location.
I go to my friend that was living.
What the fuck am I watching?
His brother does tattoos at the house. Yeah, I rented Brian's brother's house, and I tell him about my genius plan. He's like, so how much money do you have? And I was like, $20. Bro, deal.
On the 20th of August 2017, for a home job price of $20,
I mean,
the Anne
that-
Frank
hey,
face tattoo was finished.
wait,
That
that's-
is the response
that-
from those
that's
who
pretty good, actually.
So
What the
tell me
fuck?
why Teddy got a tattoo of Anne Frank big as on his face. Why? With many others echoing.
That guy's really good at that.
This is so irresponsible, and frankly, I do not approve. How ignorant are people going to get for attention now? While others made the argument that everybody should be allowed to make their own choices. I mean, you didn't do it, so why do you care what other people do? That's just hating. If you don't like it, you don't have to respond. Despite this initial burst of public attention, Arnold maintained that he hadn't orchestrated this to go viral.
I didn't think this was gonna be a viral thing. Bro, I was moving off my like heart. It wasn't to try to be like a viral thing. I was really into tattoos. I wanted to always be completely tattooed, inked up head to toe. You see what I'm saying?
Yet the uniqueness of the piece certainly helped to expand his network, becoming closely acquainted with XXXTentacion and others.
I started working with Ski Mask. I started working with Trippie Redd. I started working with Warhols. I started working with Cole Bennett.
Which eventually led to his now infamous meetup with the one and only Lil Xan. Arnold explained that he met Lil Xan while hanging
So
out backstage
3
at a
minutes in
festival.
again,
That was
maybe
there, so I just introduced
30
myself.
seconds of
Well, that's
commentary.
well,
During which Lil Xan saw the tattoo and gave him a funny nickname.
We're just shooting jokes, and he's like, "This is like Zan Frank. Like this is wild."
This on its own wasn't anything interesting. However, when somebody from the media began talking to the two, their evening took an unexpected turn.
Hey, yo, Lil Xan,
Was
who
that
you hanging
Tana?
out with? It was my boy Zan Frank. That's it. The internet broke. That was it. All the photos that went viral into memes and everything.
What
came
the
from
fuck?
Them taking pictures of that day because they were just capturing that exact moment.
Rapper gets tattoo of Anne Frank on his face because he's dying for his music. Arnold Gutierrez, who goes by the name Zan Frank and Arnold is Dead, stunned rap fans with a huge inking of the Jewish diarist. Articles such as this one helped Arnold's social media to explode.
After that, I wake up the next day and I have like 15K followers and the whole internet just wrecking my shit.
With the virality of the situation then leading to an Instagram post by Lil Xan announcing that Arnold was the new third member of Xanarchy. The post was amplified further when Adam22 reposted the image to his Twitter with the caption
Adam
Anne Frank
22.
face tattoo before getting Arnold in a no jumper video titled He Got an Anne Frank face tattoo.
Give me your version of why you got the Anne Frank face tattoo. Let's hear it.
What's my version?
I don't know. Let's hear your version.
I don't got a version, dog.
Oh,
Zan Frank, dog. Xanarchy.
Is that what inspired?
No, that's Xanarchy all day.
Okay.
Despite this, Arnold explained that people often didn't recognize who it was in the
Anarchy?
image,
I
What
get
the
funny ones
fuck?
like, is that your daughter? Is that your mom? Is that your girlfriend?
This
And I'm like,
video
"It's
is-
Zan Frank." Some people don't know who Anne Frank is.
which is surprising as a now deleted Reddit post of the tattoo
Insane.
received 4.8k upvotes on the ATBGE subreddit, which is a space dedicated to awful taste but great execution for everything that displays quality craftsmanship in the least elegant way possible. Not a bad compliment for a $20 home job. Others of the post expressed concern over his future employment prospects, yet the reply suggested that he might qualify for some
Like I said, honestly, I would have expected that whole fucking tattoo to be a lot worse for $20. Like, it's not good. It's definitely not good. But like, for $20 for that large of a tattoo, like, I'm surprised.
Niche stating, tell that to the HR department at the Holocaust Museum, as well as standing at the exit offering pictures with his face, might be the best bet
What
for a
the
career.
fuck?
What the internet thought was
HR department?
What always been done this so many
about
times.
the opinion of one specific person.
The only person's reaction was my mother's. She looked at me, bro. She was like, "Oh, you're still my son, bro." I don't see that. Like nothing changed.
And if anything, the situation helped Arnold to take care of his family, given he was now being presented with new opportunities, which he previously
Yes.
hadn't had access to.
Now I had an opportunity to be able to walk into rooms that I wouldn't be able to walk into. Like I said, it wasn't the intention, but the fact that it happened like that, that's what made it 10 times better.
One such instance was a meeting with a top executive at Republic Records, who turned out to be Jewish, but found the piece to be quite endearing.
We took him to a meeting at Republic. Clearly, you know, she's like, shout out to the Jewish people. Yeah, she was Jewish. Anne Frank, she was about to cry.
Yes, she was.
Arnold then gave a description of that day in his own words,
She comes from a Jewish background, and she's one of the big label execs. She brings a lot of big artists there. You could Google her, and she has a really big background in that. And we really had a heart to heart.
also adding that most people are polite in real life and have no problems with the piece outside of the internet.
I've never even had someone like use it as an insult. The only thing I've seen is like comments online and like people just bashing it.
Around the same time, Arnold also got a Xanarchy tattoo on his neck, which is both strange and unfortunate, as he never even joined the crew officially, and the relationship between Arnold and Lil Xan came to an end only 3 months after their first meeting.
He's like not really part of Xanarchy anymore.
Really?
Yeah, he's probably like very.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's cool. Like we cool with him, but you know.
Yeah. Well, was it the Anne Frank face tattoo? It was too much.
No.
Arnold then explained that he was removed from Xanarchy.
I thought they had like one song.
Told him this,
I had gotten kicked out from the group because they said I was like a bad influence to
So,
those because I
7.5
was like partying
minutes.
really hard.
which is interesting. as Arnold
I'd
explained
say
that
more
he's
than
quite
40
significantly
seconds
since
worth of
getting a tattoo
commentary,
for the
but sure.
first time.
I'm a lot more mellow now after having a daughter, after cleaning up and stuff like that. You know, I haven't taken Zans in a long time, probably like almost 2 years now. I'm
Fair
not
enough.
continuing
Yeah,
Zans,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna push that
Shit,
agenda.
fuck it, man.
Within the last month, Arnold did a photo shoot with the up-and-coming Jewish rapper BLP Kosher, who was recently interviewed by Nardwar, also getting a small feature in his special.
Well, anyway, he's a
video
cat,
during the
he
live
talks
broadcast
normally
of
and shit.
Anne Frank. Arnold has also recently rebranded to La Pension, which is Spanish for DJ child support, combining his old skill of producing music with his love for Latin culture, ultimately hoping to spread a positive message.
Instead of like pushing this whole agenda that everybody was following as a trend with the drugs and all that stuff, let's make people dance, enjoy life,
Wait,
feel good about themselves.
Chat said News 82, and that wasn't even the video? Is it actually another one? Oh my fucking god. I'm brain dead.
Restaurant
I watched the whole video, and that's not even the one I want to watch. Okay, dude. Yo, this is X on the beat.
Yeah, so there's definitely more than 40 seconds of content, but I mean, yeah, that's probably that definitely wouldn't fall under, you know, like transformative. I would guess, because there's not a whole lot there. You just kind of like watch the video and you're kind of like, whoa, that's crazy, man. That's fucking wild. Wow, like that. It's a fair point, but at the same time, obviously edited worse to make him look worse. But I don't think xQc really had an opportunity to defend that.
10 years of career. I'm sure that
I was
there's
just
been
curious to
times
see.
where I've done a less good job of reacting fairly to content.
A
I'm
less
sure
good
of it,
job.
right? And
So you
that's
were
some-
deep in it. So
and
you're
that's
not anymore.
and that's something I acknowledge and something that I'm always working on and analyzing and thinking how I can do it better. It's something I really care about. And the reason why this conversation is interesting is because it's something that you don't care about. And I'd like to know, I'd like to understand that. But are you saying, have I ever done a bad reaction in my whole career? Yeah,
See,
yes,
again, he
probably.
keeps on hitting with
so
that
then,
fucking,
would you really-
you don't care, you don't care, you don't care. Like, I care, I'm morally good. You don't care, you're morally bad. The fact that xQc doesn't address this throughout the entire fucking debate is so fucking painful, because it would hurt Ethan's argument so bad.
Old Ethan, or not too old Ethan, is a thief, sack of dog shit motherfucker.
Sure, yeah. In those, if that's what happened in that time, sure, I was a dog shit sack, loot, whatever the fuck you said.
I think you said it like 6 or 8 times so far in 23 minutes. You don't care. You don't care. You don't care. Like
you made any efforts to repair the damage or the things that you've stolen from the people that you thieved from.
Well, again, I don't have specific examples. There's nobody that's approached me, so it's you know.
Have you taken accountability the same way you want to take accountability?
Notice that there's nobody that's there's nobody that's approached me. H3H3, Ethan Klein. There's nobody that's approached me. Okay.
Accountability publicly for that.
I just did, didn't I?
Not really.
Why not? I just said, yeah, I've probably done that. What do you want me to do?
You're gonna rob a bunch of people and say, guys, I might have robbed somebody. Lol. I'm moving on. I mean, it seems like kind of a cop out, to be honest.
Well, it's not like going in a store and sticking somebody up. Fair use is interpreted by judge or jury.
So is it thief or is it not thief? Because the way I see it,
the way you do it, I think
when you steal something from somebody, right? There's gonna be a process of like finding who's guilty, how much, and there's a whole process behind it, like the legal system is. Just like, I mean, don't you care about the legal system? You seem to care about DMC a lot, right? So being a thief, surely you're gonna care about that a lot. So did you damage them? Did you chop them? Did you make an apology?
I don't know who the victims are or if there are any. All right, let's move on. We're talking in circles a little bit.
I don't know if there's any. I don't know if there's any damage done, and I don't know who the victims would be.
Okay. About the permission thing?
Again, keep that in mind.
So what you're doing is running away pretty much. We're not running.
Well, no,
you're not running in a direction, and you're going straight forward. That's what's going on right now.
That's clearly not the case, but I will just let it be for the sake of continuing the argument.
Gotcha. Keep going.
But yeah, you do it every single day. I mean, I've done it maybe a few times in my career. I've done, you know, and again, I don't know who the victims are, and if they come or nobody's ever come to me. Has anyone ever complained that you stole their videos?
Anybody?
No one's ever come to me. He said that
okay.
like, this is his third, maybe fourth time of talking about that. That no victim has ever presented themselves to Ethan. Keep that in mind.
Nobody's ever complained to me about that.
Oh, so now you care about robbing
That's
somebody,
definitely
right?
four.
Well, and if they didn't tell me, well, you know what? We're
You're saying the victim of the crime doesn't matter?
Which is exactly what you went after me with.
Does the victim of a crime not matter?
Well, he's asking after the fact that there's the exact
Does
argument.
the victim of a crime not matter?
And you're running away from it.
I don't know. Listen, the
fact that he is just allowing Ethan to fucking get away with these. Like, Ethan is creating the narrative right now. Like, he is 100% in control, and the fact that xQc is just letting him get away with it at time and time again is so fucking painful.
Is literally just concrete proof you did it. That's the only reason I'm saying it. I don't understand your point.
So when we say victims, I said
some people you stole from. They're a victim.
Okay, what about your victims?
I don't know who they are. How many times do I need to say that?
Okay, me reaching out
5
and making an agreement with them and
every time.
Yes, you're not okay. Listen, Ethan. If you want to open up the chat and go with the logs, I have so many logs to make your head spin.
Let me ask you a question.
I have hundreds of emails sent people, more than any reactor, which is more than your friend Hassan. He does way less asking than I do.
Why are you bringing up Hassan? What does that have to do with anything?
Because whenever he was on your podcast, he was sucking his balls out.
Well,
right?
that's
when he does Mr. Chair react and with all
dude,
due
you're
respect,
so dishonest. You don't even know what you're talking about. Last week I chewed him out for an hour to the point where I had to apologize because people were mad at me. You literally don't know.
That sounds like your problem.
It is my problem, but you have no consistency what you're talking about. You just said I lick his balls, and now I proved you wrong.
Yeah, he should not have brought up Hassan at all on this. If anything, if you wanted to bring up Hassan, you should have brought it up that Hassan does the exact same thing, and that you weren't sitting there calling him like a thief, piece of shit, scum. You didn't, like, yeah, you chewed him out a little bit, but you didn't then attack him on fucking Twitter all day. You didn't do all these other things. Like, because it's your friend, you let him get away with way more. All right, that's where xQc should have gone with that. The fact that he just brought up that he basically allows Hassan to do it and has like no criticism whatsoever, that fucking nope, bad. No. Again, if you would have stood by it and been like, look, where's the massive fucking hate fucking brigade on Hassan on Twitter? Why didn't, like, okay, like, you did all these things, you said all these things, and then you then apologized to him online. You apologized to him because you, quote unquote, went too hard. But meanwhile, because xQc does the exact same thing, well, he's an awful, awful human being, and you're willing to have him on the fucking podcast and sit here and just say this fucking deranged shit and be like, oh, you're just a fucking piece of shit content thief over and over again. Like, and you have no worries about offending him whatsoever.
Consistency?
You're making no sense, bro.
So
what do you mean it's my problem?
Piece of shit for doing chair react when he does.
All right, this is so mind-numbingly dumb. Let's just move on to the permission part.
You know what? You want to fucking keep doing a sprint? Let's just keep running. Let's do a marathon, me and you. How about that? Because we're running a straight line right now. I'm running after you, and you are going straight forward.
Okay, good. I mean, that's the point of the conversation, right?
Let's just keep going.
What percentage of people would you say you get permission from?
The majority. Because the way it works for me, but for React, the main lines, most of the content that I like, I have it all lined up, right? So people that I really like the best. We reach out to them and we create this little kind of partnership, right? And when there's a smaller creators, I try to be way more careful with the amount of growth that they're getting, how many subscribers they have, and I try to be better with it. And quite honestly, when it comes to small creators, I've never had any pushback, right? So no victims in that case.
Okay, that's perfect. Have you heard of a guy named Vince Vintage? You reacted to 2 of his videos. This one was from a month ago. You remember this video? Disappearance of FBI's most wanted 16-year-old. xQc reacts. This is from a month ago.
That was 2.5 months, 2.5 weeks ago.
Kids, bro. My roommates have kids. That's what it is. You're gonna hear them in the background, especially the younger one. He likes to throw random temper tantrums out. I mean, he's what, like, I think he's 2 now. So yeah, terrible 2 stage. So yeah, you'll get that.
Okay, perfect. So it was very recent. So,
Yeah, don't know what
would
he's
you consider
upset
this
about
guy a
right
small
now, but
creator?
he's
He doesn't
fucking
have a lot of
pissed.
subs.
I don't know how much of that
In
you
fact,
can
here's
hear.
his original video.
Klein in a store.
He only has 400,000. Well, that's not
Angry
small.
little
But anyway, you
child.
did this recently. Do you know who that guy is?
Yes.
Okay. Why didn't you ask him for permission?
I don't know. Did he complain? Because at this point, I don't know if I had a victim, right? I don't know. So I didn't do.
Well, you do, actually. And what's funny is I literally just reached out to one random person from your recent reacts, just one, who followed me.
Oh, yeah, just one. It was only one, for sure.
Yeah. No, I swear to God.
So you went ask, are you a victim, by the way?
Hold on. This is important. This is important for you to understand. So I reached out to Vince Vintage, and I said, hey, I'm just curious, did xQc get permission? And I'm going to read you the message he sent me, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
He said, really appreciate you reaching out, Ethan. I've never been contacted by xQc at all for any of my React videos. My personal take is this. I love big streamers watching, like xQc, Hassan, Mizgift, Moist Critical, watching my videos on the stream. It's a big ego boost. But when xQc does it, it's different. When he watches my video, he always re-uploads the whole thing on his YouTube channel with his insightful commentary as, wow, chat, isn't this crazy? Compared to when Hassan watched my stuff, he shouted me out, and he says he loves my stuff, and he sent a bunch of subscribers to my channel. A fair exchange. Here's a video. He showed me a video of Hassan doing that. And then he said, xQc, he really just steals my shit, entertains his audience of hundreds of hours I put into my videos while I get just a link in the YouTube description. The problem isn't the reacting, it's the re-uploading of my video with his face on the thumbnail, and also, and I don't DMCA him because I don't want the Twitter drama.
Oh, he doesn't want the Twitter drama.
Wait, why are you, well, hold on, this guy says you stole his shit. Why are you denigrating that? I think you should take this seriously.
Well, because one, he's a paid actor, right? Which I think, well, I mean, if this is, I mean, that's a paid actor, 100%.
Wait, what? What did you say?
Oh, it's a paid actor.
He's a paid actor?
Yeah, it is what it is.
Okay, well, just assume for the sake of the conversation that he's not a paid actor.
Okay,
I mean, it is really weird that, like, Ethan was able to just reach out to one random person, just happened to be following him in xQc's recent React videos, and he just reached out to this one random person, and it just so happened to be like, oh yeah, like, I'll give you an in-depth analysis on, like, why Hassan good and xQc bad, right? Like, it is weird. I really doubt that he only reached out to one person. He probably reached out to several people. He has a whole team. Again, you got to remember this. He has a whole team behind him. I guarantee you, he probably reached out to several different people and got like meh responses of like, yeah, I guess xQc kind of does something wrong, but like, I don't really care. I guarantee that was like 90% of the fucking reactions that he got. Then he found this one guy and like that was a fan of Ethan, had already seen Ethan's previous video on this, and like had Ethan's take in mind. It was like, yeah, I'm gonna type this fucking manifesto up for you. Like, like here's a link to a video where Hassan does something. He reacts to my videos and like sends me a bunch of fucking subscribers and viewership, and it was like, but when xQc did, he just stole my shit, and like I didn't get anything out of it. Come on now, it's weird. But to like be like, oh, it's a paid actor, that's not the route you want to go down, bro.
Yeah, okay. So the first guy you react, right? The first guy you send a message to sends you a paragraph looks like the Bible, right? And is stroking your ego out. Well, you know what? That's okay. I'll bite. No problem.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's really cool about this, right, is that we can make.
You should have asked for. He was clearly reading off, like the email or whatever, like DMs or whatever else happened, right? You should have asked to see that on screen. You should have asked to see the full fucking context of these messages, because homie should have known that he was going to get these DMs leaked if you would have pressured for it. Like, he had to have known it. And if he would have fallen back on the whole, if Ethan would have fallen back on the whole excuse of like, well, I'm not going to share like personal fucking information, blah, blah, blah. Like, nah, you would have had a fucking easy W there.
Type of interaction I have with this person and make it 10 times better for our ecosystem, right? Of how I watch, what I upload. If he had asked, he doesn't have to. He can use the DMCA system, and maybe there will be Twitter drama or not. Usually, we never make drama for DMCA stuff. But then
I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Why are you not responding to his accusation? He says you're stealing his shit.
Let me elaborate.
I don't know. Okay.
Let me elaborate. He would be a data outlier, a person who doesn't like it, and we can either recurve that, make it better, and I will de-damage him for every $1 that he has lost to me, right? And he had analytics to back up how much the video on YouTube cannibalized his, or any sort of damaging data or stats behind it. I would be more than happy to give him 10 times, 10x, whatever damage was
good.
caused.
He'll reach out. Have you ever paid anybody 10x before? Has that ever happened?
We have
how many times?
Before. Whatever it arises.
How many times does it happen?
I have to check with the editor, but
right, not a lot. I'd assume not a lot of people do that.
Oh, okay. So the amount really is what you're looking at then.
No, just the amount of times that people actually take you up on that. Because what you're saying is, I'm going to steal your stuff, and I don't care if you have a problem with it. You can come talk to me. Like, that's not your right. Shouldn't you apologize to Vince?
Oh, yes, I apologize.
It's not his job to come ask you for reparations for you stealing from him. Don't you understand that?
So what you're saying is that you went digging.
See, so here's where we start to get into, like, remember when I said keep in mind how many times Ethan brings up, like, no victims have come forward, nobody's complained, nobody's done this, nobody's done that. Like, I don't know if I'm doing anything wrong because nobody said anything. But then he like when XQC says, well, no, like if anybody has an issue with it, they can come to me and like, hey, shoot me a fucking Twitter DM and like we can handle it. It's that simple. But like Ethan doubles back and like, oh, whoa, wait a minute, it's their job to then like reach out to you. Wait a minute, didn't you just say that you don't have any victims because nobody's reached out to you? Which which is it? You can't operate both ways, right? You can't sit there and say that you have the high ground because you don't have any victims. Nobody's reached out to you. Nobody has said anything about you doing poorly, which I guarantee that they have, Ethan. Let's be real. Let's not lie. Come on now. I guarantee I have seen so many videos criticizing you. Like there has definitely been people that have reached out and been like, hey, you're just like kind of half-ass fucking stealing my content, and I guarantee you that you have had this happen. I would be fucking shocked to say the least if there was absolutely nobody in your entire career or even in your recent career that hasn't reached out and been like, yeah, no, I'm totally fine with everything. So I guarantee that that's probably a lie. Yeah, I'd almost guarantee that that's a lie, but it doesn't really matter because you're kind of just like double backing on the whole fucking, well, I don't know if there's any victims because there's I don't know if I've done anything wrong because I don't know if there's any victims because nobody has reached out to me. Nobody has come forward and been like, hey, this person does this. Well, you have to then extend the same courtesy to xQc. Do you not? Can you just ignore that?
Speaking for victims,
I literally messaged one dude.
Okay, so nobody in your production room.
Why don't you just apologize to Vince Vintage?
I absolutely will, and I didn't get a Twitter DM. I didn't get nothing. I feel really bad. You want to know why? Because all about the whole sphere of this, everything around it, is to make something good happen, right? And that's
such bullshit, bro. Nice try. You literally do it to enrich yourself. You're a multimillionaire, and you steal content from small creators, and you don't give a fuck about their rights or what they want. And then you're
see now we're just gonna hit with like the moral fucking high ground argument, which xQc had such a good ability to just smash this into the fucking ground when it started, but he didn't.
Only justification is, oh yeah, you can come.
Which is like 75% of Ethan's argument, by the way, is the moral high ground. That's all he's really doing right now, because they couldn't possibly actually sit here and have like a legal discussion on like the new more modern content avenue, right, with live streaming, because when we really fucking sat down and like when like YouTube started out and like we got these like simple definitions of fair use and everything and like how that would apply to YouTube, like sure, that works really well. The whole it has to be transformative in nature. That works really well for YouTube because again, it's not a live avenue. It is something that you have to sit down, edit, you have to sit down, record, edit, and then post, right? Now when we're talking live streaming, should there be new different ways to look at transformative because of it being from a live stream angle? There's a lot of arguments that can be made for and against that, but obviously these two can't have that conversation. I don't think either of them are well equipped enough to do that conversation. So all he's got is to sit on the moral high ground and say, well, you don't like, you don't care about the laws, you don't care about small creators, you don't care about this, you don't care about that. And like xQc can't really defend himself because he wants to die on this hill of like, no, I don't care about the law, fuck him. Like he has such a poor way of like actually explaining his position when you're talking about the legality of the situation, because it's not that he doesn't care about the law, and it's not that he doesn't care about small creators, at least from what he has said and all the other videos that I've caught of his take on this topic. It's more of he thinks that there needs to be a modernization of those rulings, a modernization of those laws. So like that's an actual argument. If he would have just stated that earlier, if he would have just fucking focused in on that first original, like, oh, you don't care about the law, like if he would just hyper focus on that and be like, no, that's not what I fucking mean. I actually mean that the laws are just bad and we need to fucking reorganize them. We need to redo this because live content is transformative for X, Y, and Z. And like, there's like, we should have different standards for a non-live recorded incident versus a fucking live streamed performance, right? There should be differences in these. So like he could have made this a lot harder of a hill for Ethan to climb up, but he just, again, I'm going to chalk that up to inexperience, I think.
Me down and complain and try to get my attention so I can pay you for the shit I stole. It's total bullshit, bro. You're not creating anything big for anyone. You're just taking attention and views for yourself, and you don't give a fuck about the consequences of that. It's not your decision to make that for other people's property.
You sound like watch out, you sound like Robin Hood or something. Are you like some sort of hero or something like that? Because it seems like you do a lot of that, and you take the high
Interesting
road on it,
defense.
you take the high road on that. One, that's my point. You have done that. You do that.
You haven't
and
proven that.
Well, it's all.
Okay, fine, I did it. You know what I mean? It's like so stupid. What is it? What does
because you can't use me as an example
Why?
for your own thing. Because
You keep saying that.
You're
but
doing
it's
it.
not proven.
You're doing it. You call me a thief piece of shit when you're doing it.
You haven't proven that. I don't know why you keep saying that.
Let me send one DM. I will, guys. I'm going to send one message, and he will automatically give me a full response right now. Give me a minute.
See, he's just bouncing around.
You're making
he's just
fun of this
fucking
message I
looping
got
on
from
random
Vince. It was
shit.
genuine. He was expressing himself
For no
genuinely, and he
reason.
was disturbed by the way you use his content. Can I ask you another question related to Vince?
I'll take that one out. I will take that. If Vince wants to come in right now, send me a DM. I'll take that one out. I will give you every penny of that. And I'll say this ecosystem doesn't work for you.
Let me ask you a question. This is the video, and you do this all the time. You'll agree.
Yes.
You use the exact title and the exact thumbnail. The only reason for anybody to do that is to confuse search and discovery and cannibalize views from the original. That is the only reason to do that.
Do you have any facts to back it up? I have facts
That is,
dude, it's the thumbnail and the title. Don't you?
that is not the only reason. That could literally just be attributed to laziness, right? Like, it's a lot easier just to take somebody's thumbnail and be like, slap my fucking face into it and like slap a fucking funny face onto that and be like, bam, new fucking thumbnail, easy. Like, it's a lot easier to do that. So the idea that it's strictly to just cannibalize it, that's ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous, especially if you're talking about like a larger content creator versus a smaller content creator, because we already know that the algorithm far favors large content creators over small content creators. So like if you were to if you were to fucking search up on YouTube these exact fucking titles, you know what one's going to show up first? The one with the more views, the one with the higher sub count, the one with the more fucking watch hours, everything, all those things all then go to that person. It's not like let's say you upload the exact same video, like two channels upload the exact same videos with the same titles, same thumbnails, same everything. The only difference is the difference in channel size. One is 100,000 subs, one is 100 subs, right? The one with 100,000 subs, they are going to be at the top of the list and they will remain at the top of the list. That 100 sub channel will never, ever, 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 ever have a fighting fucking chance. Ever. All right? It's just never going to happen. So you can then expand that to like, even if the titles are slightly different, like if you put like xQc reacts to and then put the title in quotations, like it's still going to be, if you type in that original video's original title, it's still going to bring up xQc's video. Why? Because of the higher sub count. Like let's stop pretending like that isn't a thing. Like the sub counts don't matter. All right, it's way more important.
You see that users will be confused.
Let me tell you something.
Don't you think so?
My YouTube channel does not grow. It quietly doesn't. But
Well, that's because you just post a ton of shit there. No, you don't put any effort into it.
Okay, and why do you think that is?
Because you don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Clearly.
So, gotcha. So these are cut downs for the people that we call the YouTube frogs that are just watching my shit.
It's not your content, though. You don't get that right.
Okay, well, same goes to you then.
No, you haven't proven that. You keep saying that, but it doesn't mean anything.
Okay, then show me proof you asked for permission. We got it.
Why? Now you're asking me to show you proof? Dude, you're absurd. Why is it?
Wait.
You think it's crazy? Dude, the fact that you're using the same title and the same thumbnail is so parasitic. It's so shady. You are only doing that to siphon off views and confuse people. There's no other reason for that. Why would you use the same exact title and the same exact thumbnail?
Again,
Explain
laziness.
So are you more upset about the title or about the content of the video itself?
Well, it's the intention, dude. It's all together. You're intentionally confusing people to click your video instead of hit.
Since you're all about legality, you would understand that intention is one of the hardest things to put out there, right?
Intentionally. Like, I don't think that xQc, the largest content creator on the online fucking platform, like on streaming in general, like I don't think he needs to confuse people to click his video. Like the fact that you're just letting him get away with this is so fucking frustrating. He doesn't need to confuse people into watching his content. All right, that's not real.
Philosophy, we already moved past legality. You don't care about fair use.
Yeah, no, we can kind of do.
Just answer the question.
How many times throughout this entire, like, it's an hour and 10 minutes, and I think he's said you don't care about this, you don't care about that, like 30 fucking times already. It's like once every 2 minutes. Holy fuck!
Why did you do that? Why did you give it the same exact title and thumbnail? Just answer that.
It's fucking crazy.
Why did you want to?
It's absolutely fucking
Why did you want to?
Because the thumbnail is good and it gives the viewer what they want.
Right,
and,
which is the original video. They want the original video.
Okay, so
that is actually really hard to prove. It's really, really hard to prove that they want the original video. You know how much of like a deep dive into YouTube analytics you would have to do to fucking prove that? You would have to have like an absolute understanding of the YouTube algorithm. Not only that, you would have to then like this would have to be a controlled experiment for like months. Right? You can't just base that off of a handful of videos. That'd be really fucking hard to understand.
So I'll tell you, since you don't like questions, I'm just gonna give you a fact then, right? People that don't watch React content do not get served React content. If somebody wants to watch us react it, well, I thought it being cannibalistic was a problem with you. Is it not?
You're going to try to say that the Google algorithm is somehow running D for you? That's crazy. It's stupid.
So you said that it's cannibalistic. I give you a hint on why it's not.
Well, it's the intention. It's the
Okay, so
intention.
now so if you want to just keep going back and forth and say not there, not there, not there.
Okay, so you see no problem with this?
No.
No. Okay. And if you added 20 seconds of commentary to his video and you use the same title and the same thumbnail, you don't see any problem with that?
No.
Okay. There it is.
So it seems like
all you really need to say.
So
it seems that you don't care about. It seems you don't not just care about the law. It seems like you don't care about people's artistic, creative property at all. It seems that you don't have any respect for property at all. IP at least.
It seems like nobody, to my knowledge, has a problem with any of my videos being up right now.
But you're like a prolific thief. You could say, "Oh, I found one example of you doing this back in whatever year."
See, again, xQc is just letting him get away with this. xQc is just allowing him to just continue to dogpile on these random fucking... they're not actual arguments. They're moral judgments, all right? That is his biggest problem with this entire debate, is he is just allowing Ethan to dogpile on these fucking moral arguments, or these moral fucking jabs versus actual arguments.
You're a prolific thief, dude. You do this every day, multiple times a day on your YouTube channel.
Gotcha. So I will go to somebody's house, say, take something, and he doesn't care, right? He generally doesn't, and never reached out. And you go out there and you go and seek the victims out, right? And you failed to establish a pattern of them being cannibalized the way they.
Well, there's just one. I mean, one is enough, isn't it?
Okay. In that case, it puts the burden of proof on you as well. Then, what? Permission. Yes, because I think.
Wait, one is enough when you're calling him a prolific thief. No, if you're. Like, do you see how he really does? Like, xQc did call it out earlier that he is a goalpost shifter, but the problem is that he isn't a goalpost shifter in the way that xQc said. Things like this right here, where, well, one is enough, right? You're a prolific thief, but one example is enough. I don't know that I have any wrongdoings because I don't have any victims, but you don't, like, the victim shouldn't have to come to you. You see how it just keeps on goalpost shifting? Not only on that, but the whole fucking, like, he says, like, I'm sure I've done it throughout my career too. I'm sure I've been guilty of not being good fair use, making good fair use content as well throughout my entire career. But one is enough.
I don't need permission to transform content, dude.
Okay, so one of the videos that I did, there's 4 ones, so you guys see all of them. If you have proof, you ask permission to any of those, you win by a landslide.
Why would I need proof to transform a video? I mean, the only one is Meat Canyon because he's my buddy. There's obviously ones where, like, it's obvious where your buddies. I actually did ask Meat Canyon.
Oh, it's obvious. So
well, you understand that on Twitch too. There's people that everyone's friends with, and like, but this guy, I mean, Vince.
So, yeah. Okay, so you're making assumptions about me, but we're not making assumptions about
you.
Not
an assumption. I have a literal fucking message from the guy you stole from. It's not an assumption. It's literally a fact.
Okay, so the whole reason why this debate was in the first place is that people were finding victims that didn't exist. They're saying, oh, this is a problem for people. Okay. So you found a person who doesn't like it.
Yes.
And there's multiple ways out.
Actually, he even specifically named you as the problem. He said the other people actually clouded me up, where xQc completely stole my shit, added no valuable commentary, and then stole my views. That's specifically what he said, actually.
Okay. So the guy's a problem, and instead of reaching out in any way, shape, or form, he waited for you, the savior of the earth, to come in and just Robin Hood it and just be a guy, I got you, bro. Why? Why?
Do you really not understand the concept that small creators wouldn't want to start shit with xQc, one of the biggest, with the craziest fan base in the world? Like, is that really a foreign idea to you, that they wouldn't want to deal with this power dynamic? Like, you would crush them if you said anything. Your fans would harass them into oblivion. That's too foreign for you to understand?
This whole, like, power dynamic argument is so fucking shit, especially online. Like, grow up. It's the online world. Like, we have to deal with shit like this. Like, imagine, it's so fucking crazy to me. So, like, you, Ethan, H3H3, are a far larger platform than me, far bigger, but I'm not sitting here worried that some fucking community war is gonna start against me. Like, I'm gonna call you out on your fucking bullshit. I don't give a fuck. Like, this whole power dynamic bullshit, it's so fucking cringe. Grow the fuck up.
So this guy,
it's a terrible
400K subscribers, big YouTube videos, small creators that's about to fucking die from something. Ethan is here to save the day. This person will now be able to afford some food.
What is that? This is just a terrible line of argument, by the way,
make a portrait,
from
you draw a picture on who this person is, and you say, small creator, like, struggling and whatnot. I'm saving him, and you're just you are misrepresenting it.
So he doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, he does matter, but not in the capacity that you're trying to paint.
Which is what? I don't understand what you're saying.
A small, struggling creator. Somebody please help this person before he goes out of business.
True.
Well, no, I didn't say any of that.
Well, you did. You did. You just
actually quite literally did not say that.
You said small creator. That's enough.
Well, okay. I was upfront about his sub count. I looked at it. But anyway, let's see.
My bad. I was just wrong. I was just mega wrong. Let's move on.
You have been this entire time. It's fine.
Right.
So yeah, I'm sure you're familiar with this thread because he actually gave you permission to perform this analysis. Internet archivist. He said, I let XQc repost a reaction to see the impact
anarchist.
It had. Okay, and the analysis is basically the video witnessed an 87% decrease in impressions.
This is such a bad example because like, it's such a bad example.
And the video also witnessed a 52% decrease in viewers on the day of the re-upload. So I mean, of the evidence that I've seen, then it actually shows that it has either a negligible or potentially even a negative effect on the original video.
Gotcha. So,
and actually, he even made you change the title and the thumbnail. So why do you think he asked you to do that, XQc? He said, don't use the same thumbnail and title. Why do you think he asked you that?
Because as a creator of the IP, like you like to fucking say,
because you siphon views from people, dude. It's so fucking obvious why you do it. I think he asked you to do that, XQ.
I don't know if he actually shows either this a negligible again or not. But so this is a terrible. So apparently it was uploaded on. Is that August 1st? Yeah, it looks like it. So you can see August 1st. Right, this is when it was uploaded, when the reaction was uploaded. So you're talking about an obvious downward trend. So like, clearly that, these stats don't show the argument that you think that they do. Ethan, they don't. They just don't. All right. If it were to follow this trend, it would just, it would have fucking bottomed out somewhere around here, right? Because you can see the obvious line being drawn, like. It would have bottomed out right about here. But the moment that this reaction gets uploaded on this day, it then kind of curves that viewership back up a little bit, and it creates a smaller arc downwards, right? So I'm not really sure how you can try, like, this line is pretty fucking defined right here, right? It just fucking shoots downwards. All right. And it's also really hard to say that this is, it's really hard to say that like his video reaction even did this, right? Even though we know like it clearly was on a downward trend here, and the video then comes out and now it's on a much not steeper, the fucking opposite of steep, a much smoother fucking downhill, right? Because this is a pretty fucking steep, just fucking but there's also things about the YouTube algorithm that we wouldn't really understand, right? So like we don't know that this is 100% what it's showing that you're trying to show, like, right? We don't know 100% that like this video is the cause for this to smooth out. We don't know for 100% that it wouldn't have done that naturally over time, because I believe that like on your upload, like the first 2 or 3 days that the video is uploaded is when YouTube is like, the algorithm is pushing that video more and more. And then like after a couple of days, the impressions go way down, the fucking, because like this is just impressions, right? So like, we know that the impressions and everything go down after upload, after like a day or 2, maybe 3, I don't know. So like it's really hard unless we have like a very, very clear understanding of like how YouTube algorithm works. It's kind of difficult to actually sit here and tell like how exactly all of this is lining up, isn't it? I mean, that'd be my take on it. There could definitely be an argument to be made though, because of the chart that we're seeing, that if anything, his reaction video helped the original video. So I don't know, like, out of everything, why would you use this? This doesn't, the video witnessed an 87.87% decrease in impressions on the day of the re-upload. Not really. Like, what do you mean? This was already at a downward trend. This is like people don't understand how to look at data. I don't understand. So views is the exact same thing. Yeah, views is the exact same thing. Except it looks like even though it looks like the video, his reaction video actually improved your impressions, whereas the reaction video didn't really, it bumped it a little bit. See like how like right here where instead of it just being a sharp downward, like, and it wouldn't have been much. Like we can see right here, like I'd have to like download the image and then like fucking draw lines on it to show it better, but like we could see how it's on a strict fucking downward slope. It would have bottomed out like right here. So you get like a small bump in views, but a larger bump in impressions from the upload. So I don't know. And the fact that he's trying to draw it out from like the video also witnessed a 52.11% decrease in views on the day of the re-upload. He's saying that the re-upload, or wait, the re-upload? You mean the reaction upload? The reaction upload was here, but your box is right here, whereas like, so you could already see like the reaction video clearly can't be fucking the cause of the 31st views, right? Because it didn't exist until the first. So you can't tell me that this downward trend was caused by this. You can only judge what the causes of the video past this point. So at this point and further, you can't then tell me that like everything, like,
or potentially even a negative effect on the original video.
Gotcha. So
and actually, he even made you change the title and the thumbnail. So why do you think he asked you to do that, xQc? He said, don't use...
Like, if you want to, just mute me and just go on a fucking rant. But if you want to ask me a question, you have to answer. Listen to the answer. Here's the answer. He controls the IP. He wants to be different, right? And he wants some changes. And he spoke to us, right? So instead of crying and being a little bitch, it seems like
Vince. Vince is crying and being a bitch. Is that what you're saying?
See, like again, he just keeps on just throwing these fucking moral jabs at him. Just like, oh, so you're just calling victims a bitch?
Wait, what was my mouth?
Well, I don't know who you're talking about.
Is this Twitter or what?
No, I don't mean. I just wondering who you're talking about. Go ahead.
Okay. So then, like I said,
I'm pretty sure that he was talking about himself, right? He said that this person reached out to him and he changed it instead of crying like a little bitch. So he was just like, oh yeah, sure, I'll change that for you. Instead of being like, oh, I don't want to change it for you. Like, how, like the fact that he's trying to do like mental gymnastics right here live on the fucking stage, and xQc isn't just fucking destroying him over it, it's so fucking frustrating.
Instead of being a little bitch ass, right? I think he understands at least that there's some positives to it. If not,
oh wow, bringing up another fucking like random fucking argument to like have a moral high ground on him in the middle of the fucking discussion.
A lot of positives, and some of them can actually do better. Right?
He didn't show any positive.
Okay, if it was only negative, he would have asked us to take it down and would have been that, right?
No, he left it up for the experiment, and he said, "Do not use any of my other videos without my permission." He literally told you that.
So it's a social experiment at this point. It's like an experiment. So now it's the guise of experiment, and he's only letting it because it's an experiment now.
Oh wait, I showed you proof it had a negative effect. You have proof it had a positive effect?
No, you didn't. No,
what?
You absolutely did not. Actually not. So show us again.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, there we go. Thank you, xQc. Thank you for the fuck. I know that he doesn't do. See, I've already watched this. I think I watched this twice already, but he doesn't do a very good job of explaining it. Like that. No, this doesn't show what you fucking think that it shows. But like he at least brings it back, and he's like, that wasn't a negative effect. Like you can't just say things that aren't true.
Explain how this is good. He said, I'll let you describe. The video witnessed an 87% decrease in impressions on the day of the re-upload. So
hey, Ethan,
explain that dub to me.
Go ahead, do you in your possession have a time machine? Answer the question. You do not. Gotcha. Since we're going to do the whole, I'll answer for you. You do not have a time machine, right? It is impossible to know how the video would have performed and how it would have went down in its natural curve over time, right? Whether I watch it
That's an assumption. You have no proof.
True.
I have proof.
So you use...
I have analytics.
So one data set, right?
You have no data set.
See, and the issue is that your data set doesn't actually show what you want it to fucking show.
I have a data set.
Oh my god!
And also, you're the dude stealing content, so the onus should be on you to prove the great.
And there we go with another moral jab. Like this dude is literally just giving you softball fucking wins, xQc, and you are failing at them.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Okay, I find it a little bit dishonorable and a little bit disappointing that in the middle of a conversation about analytics, you're spewing words to your audience and mine about me stealing and whatnot.
Yes, thank you for hitting him on that.
Doesn't help anybody. You're muddying the waters for no reason.
Unpack that, please.
Could you stop, please? Seriously, I mean it. It's gonna get really bad. I don't want to do like the whole insult ad hominem thing because you're doing that. Okay.
It's just a statement of fact.
So
not an insult.
Okay. So as we go forward, you are fucking bald. You're very bald. You're balding. Your hair's thinning and it's great, which means that you're old as fuck. Got it. Okay, shall we continue? Is this fun?
The premise is faulty, my friend.
Is this fun
I have
for you?
A beautiful hairline.
Baldy. Is this fun for you or not?
No, you don't.
I'm having trouble with the premise. It has a striking resemblance to you.
This is a beautiful hairline? Homie, you are the definition of like a fucking 5-head fucking hairline. Jesus. And what is this? Like, I never understood this shit where they like, I don't understand like modern hairstyles, to be fair, though.
You're trying to argue other points. It literally has no premise at all. It has no basis in reality.
You're just throwing insults for the sake.
Go ahead. I'm going to be quiet. I'll sit away.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I don't know if you've done any statistical analysis in the past. I don't know if you've had a stat class. Do you have any experience with statistics or not?
Go ahead.
Stats. Do you have any experience with statistics or not?
Go ahead. Just make your point. What does it matter?
Okay. The curve of a video and on how it performs, that looks like a natural curve, right? You can see it's already going down before I watch it, and it keeps going down at a certain rate past it, right? Do you have any proof or any indicators that the video would have performed poorly or better after the reaction?
So obviously, any data that we do have, which is of course just one, definitely proves that if it did have an effect, it's negative or negligible. And as the guy who is...
That's not what that stat shows.
I mean, you certainly can't say that this helped the video. Are you actually arguing that an 87% decrease helped the video, xQc?
oh my god, like xQc doesn't nail him on this, and it's so fucking. Oh my god, I know I've said it a million times, but it's so fucking frustrating, right? He's actually gonna just use. He's gonna take that 87.87% like as a fucking like as Bible, right? Like fuck off. Random fucking people texting me. That's not what it's showing though. Like again, here's the day that the fucking reaction gets uploaded. The current trend is not this. It's not this fucking nicer little fucking kind of downward slope. No, it's a sharp fucking down, right? Like this fucking video is literally just going straight down. By August 2nd, it would have been like right here. That's the trend as it is before the upload. The moment the upload hits, it then goes from a sharp downward slope to hit like August 2nd, it would have fucking been completely bottomed out. Now we've kind of evened it out. It looks like probably would have been like August 4th, it would have bottomed out. But it does do another little bump here, which again, it's really hard to say how much of this was his video and how much of it was xQc's reaction video. It's really fucking hard to tell because we don't have in-depth analysis of how exactly the fucking YouTube algorithm works. Like we have general ideas, sure, but we do not know like and like xQc said, we don't have a fucking time machine to go back in time to make sure that xQc never fucking released that reaction video, so then we could have two data sets to completely compare with. It's really hard to fucking make this argument, but it does not show what xQc or what fucking Ethan is trying to say it does. And this whole 87.87% decrease in impressions is fucking nonsense. It has an 87.87% decrease in impressions from the fucking upload date. All right, cool. Or 87.87% decrease in impressions from the 31st, which was already on a downward fucking trend. You can't then release that video. Like, you can't tell me that, like, I don't know, like, where does this 87.87% come from? Is it from, it would have to be from the fucking start, right? Because we're talking 300, so this is the line for 300,000 on July 31st, it was around 300,000 impressions. On August 1st, it would have been around 200,000 impressions. That's only 100,000%, or 100,000 impressions down. So you can't tell me that it's, like, where are these stats coming from? I don't understand. Where's this number coming from? Now that I actually fucking look at it. Like, unless he's trying to say, like, no, it would have to be. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to figure this out. I'm terrible at fucking math. But, like, it's pretty easy to look at the graph and see the trends, right? Like, you can see that it's on a fucking steep downward slope. The video gets released. It smooths out.
That's really what you're arguing with me right now. That's awesome, dude.
So we're going to go ahead and have the conclusion that you did not have a statistics class.
I understand your point, but like, but it's not making any sense. And how is it that a 52% decrease in viewers is a dub for you?
It's not because it's
because it could have been a 65%. It could have been a 65% decrease, right?
It could have been worse. Yeah, it could have been worse. But
okay. Do you have any proof that it would have been or wouldn't have been? Do you have any data behind that or not?
That's. I mean, dude, that's such a silly way to try to deflect from this really compelling data.
Because in my data set, I have a bunch of them, and all the video curves have the same.
That you're looking for any excuse, any out to justify you stealing content from people, even in the face of data that suggests that it's not okay.
And here it comes. When the man fails to compile data properly, like somebody who knows what he's doing, you make a conclusion based on one piece of data that you don't even understand. Is this a way to proceed with for you or not? Is this a way to argue and have that conversation, or what's going on here? I don't get it.
See, xQc is actually doing well here in saying that, like, you're just taking this and, like, you're cherry picking this fucking data and, like, trying to read it the way that you want it to read. But he doesn't, where he fails at is he doesn't explain how it actually does read. If he would have done, like, what I just did and been like, look, you have a drastic downward slope that the moment my reaction video gets posted, the slope then smooths out a lot, where it would have looked like it on August 2nd, it would have bottomed out the fucking impressions. Now, with my upload video, it doesn't bottom out till, like, the 4th, right? So that would have been, if he would have started with that and then been like, look, you're taking this data in a completely wrong way, then that would have been a great argument. That he would have fucking nailed Ethan on that one, but he doesn't. He skips a fucking step there.
Dude, you're trying to tell me that a significant decrease in views is a dub.
Ethan, I'm going to you. I just lost 16 viewers since you've talked. Clearly, you're robbing me.
How do you know that if you're not boring? Maybe you're the fucking boring one.
Oh, you're saying it's impossible to know.
I think now is where we just get into like back and forth, like fuck you. Like,
it's fun to watch.
And the whole discussion is kind of just dead.
Really,
that's a joke, of course. I think you're very entertaining. You're very talented.
Oh, thanks, man.
So I'll say this. ultimately, I'm pretty perplexed by this conclusion that I guess negative data, even just one data set.
Okay, I got you. You know what, dude? You want to go? I really didn't think you would bite on the data thing because you were gonna get fucking clapped, right? But since you want the data, okay. I mean, even though you're the one that has to prove something that's negative, I'll prove
Before you do that,
positive.
can you do me a favor? Read number 3 of his stipulation.
Yeah, so
Hold on, Dan will pull it up for you. This
like
is one
he
of his,
lets him xQc is just letting him like lead him around like he's a fucking dog, dude. He's just letting him lead him through this fucking discussion. It's so fucking bad. Like, no, you should have hit on that data part a lot harder. You didn't then explain why what he's reading on the data is wrong. Because again, we can see the trend, the downward trend, and it smooths out on your video, and like that is a much larger fucking issue than like sitting here trying to say like, oh no, it just completely just fucking plummets. It's an 87% fucking, or basically an 88% decrease in impressions the moment you release your video, which isn't accurate.
stipulations.
Use different thumbnail for execution video. Direct competition in my video and minimize.
I'm sorry, I'll read it because with peace and love, I don't think many people understood that. Use a different. I mean, just being fair. Use a different thumbnail for xQc's reaction video to prevent any direct competition with my video and to minimize viewer confusion. Direct competition, viewer confusion. Even he thinks so. That's why you use the same title and thumbnail, bro. Why are you denying reality?
Bro, that Valorant accent, I just lost fucking 16 viewers again. Holy fuck, it's kind of crazy.
Better be funny or something, bro.
Well, I'm just telling you.
React harder, xQc.
The way it says you, bro. Listen, hey, listen, you're the guy who sits like this in fucking 20 degrees and does this.
So the transformative nature is about how straight you sit. Got it.
Oh, Ethan, you want to talk about amount of transformation? Then if you want to move on to that topic, let's just get some of your I think your wife's old merch, right? Which is a
yes, I love this topic.
I saw that. I've seen it. And
sure
some of the arguments you had against it. Oh my god, I think I changed the angle by 16 degrees, and I changed a little bit of the gamma color on this one. That's very transformative. Okay, Ethan, I'm gonna watch your entire thing, not react in any way, shape, or form. I'm gonna change the color of the gamma and opacity, and I'm gonna rotate it sideways. That's very transformative, right? Ethan, come on.
So let me ask you, before I address that, and I'm happy to, I'm going to address everything you said about Teddy Fresh.
Go ahead.
What does it matter if I'm a hypocrite? How does that affect this conversation we're having? Genuinely, because we're talking.
Because you're the one taking the moral high ground. If you are a hypocrite, you can't really sit there and take the moral high ground, which is the crux of your entire fucking argument. The entirety of your argument is hinged on the fact that he doesn't care and you do. You've brought it up like a million fucking times throughout this fucking debate. That is like your biggest point, is that you have the moral high ground.
Talking about the philosophical.
So if you're a
nature
hypocrite,
of
you can't have the
taking
fucking
people's
moral high
videos,
ground,
right?
can you?
And I'm having this conversation with you, but instead of answering the question, you're constantly deflecting to prove that no, I'm a bad guy, and I don't see why you would do that, other than the fact that you don't have a good argument to argue the substance. Like, why do you keep deflecting? What does it matter if I'm a hypocrite?
Ethan, you know sometimes you send like a tweet, and people comment in the bottom and they say there's still time to delete this. Listen, Ethan, there's still time to fucking end the call and you go about your day, okay? Before you say some really fucking dumb shit, okay? When you're out here saying, what is the matter?
Get to the fucking point.
I'm a hypocrite.
I love the xQc energy. I'm not gonna lie. So like one of the things that I've really noticed with this debate is that like the energy Ethan had on Twitter and on the fucking podcast, the original fucking video talking about xQc and like how much of an awful fucking human being and a piece of shit fucking thief he was, like the same energy that Ethan had then throughout all of this. The moment that xQc is on the fucking podcast, he does not have that same energy. He is just like fucking total bitch mode for a good solid half of this fucking discussion. He starts to turn it up a little bit like towards the halfway point because, you know, he's obviously going to win the debate because clearly xQc is not experienced enough to handle the kind of like jumping around that Ethan's doing. But like it shows how much of a bitch this man is. I swear. So fucking bitch energy, mate, bro. It's so fucking crazy to me. Like he doesn't get on and just start fucking like talking the shit that he was on Twitter. He does, and right after this debate, he starts talking shit again. And admittedly, xQc is doing the same exact shit and like fucking sending him DMs and shit, and like fucking just stoking the flames. But it's just amazing to me the different levels of energy that this man has depending on the situation that he's in. It's hilarious.
We say, well, dude, what's the matter that I'm a hypocrite? Well,
no, I'm genuinely curious, but I'll answer the Teddy Fresh before you do your monologue.
It discredits all your points and makes you look like
no, it doesn't. No, I'm genuinely curious. No. xQc, no, I really want you to answer it.
And you fell on your face flat. No, it's time to lay on the facts.
No, it's an interesting philosophical question. Okay, first of all, the Teddy Fresh thing. So Teddy Fresh is a company with 30 employees. And by the way, I love whenever someone's losing a debate to me, they bring this up. It's literally the lowest hanging fruit. And if you know anything about me, you know I've talked about this 1,000 times. But I'll address it because you brought it up.
Go ahead.
We have like a whole team of designers.
Yeah, it's not a good point to make against Ethan, I guess.
Are taking stuff way too close to the source, and I agree, and it's not okay.
Give a fuck. So does my editors, which makes us about equal on that topic. So you can still sometimes, when somebody gets confused at the company, when one of the sweatshop guys gets it wrong, oh my bad. But when my editor gets it wrong, oh no, we are thieving.
Hold on.
This is also the biggest issue about this is that it isn't even Ethan's. It's his wife's company. Like I don't know how much Ethan actually is involved in it, but it's not really. I don't think it's really his say at the end of the day. It's more of a Gila fucking issue than an Ethan issue. So probably not a good thing to bring up. But
Let me finish my point.
Yeah, bring out Gila. Hey, bring him in.
Hold on. Let me finish. Hold on.
Your husband is bald.
My husband looks awesome.
Dude, my hairline is okay, dude. The fact that you're coming for my hairline just proves how fucking delusional your whole. That's a metaphor for all of your arguments. Okay, Teddy Fresh, we have designers, right? And we have a fairly large company. This is a common problem.
No, the rabbits.
We've had designers who
move
have
it back.
pretty much close to stole designs. We fire
Fuck
people
off,
over it,
Hila.
and every time
Go
it comes
away.
up, we have company meetings.
I want to see the rabbit.
Guys, this is unacceptable. If you're caught doing this, you will be fired.
Bastards.
And we've made a strict guideline, and it doesn't happen anymore.
What have
it
you
hasn't
done?
happened.
What have you done to prevent it?
Okay, so
Okay.
this is really good.
Okay.
You done?
Okay. That's what you sounded like.
Is he done or?
No, he's done. You can talk. He's done.
This is
I'm
like
just
a
being silly.
child.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I don't know how you put up with this shit. I would fucking leave his ass.
Bro,
I'm having a third child with him.
No,
Oh
you're
my
getting
God.
divorced. Wait, XQC didn't even say we're getting divorced yet. Go ahead.
XQC is good.
Um,
You know, our 4-year-old though would love your giraffe. I don't know who you got it for, but our 4-year-old would love your giraffe in the back.
Don't buy it. It's worth your price for no reason. But I like it a lot.
Okay.
Okay, so cute. Okay, so let me.
Sorry, Hila came to defend Teddy Fresh because you're talking about
I
her
actually
business.
wasn't planning to come in, but you
Yes.
brought up Teddy Fresh. Listen, then talk to me because I'm the person running Teddy Fresh, not him.
Yes.
You want to talk about it? Talk to me.
I understand, Hila.
Okay.
And the reason why I brought up that point, okay, is that sometimes some things happen, or it's somebody else's fault, it's a mistake, it's a whatever, right? And some things just gonna happen, right? It's just
Right.
human nature, and just
Totally.
most of the time.
That's
And
such bullshit.
And the question is, what do you do about
Yeah,
it?
what are you doing about it on a daily
I
basis?
I took action about it,
Yeah.
and it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Since
So
things came up
basically-
online, people pointed out to us. We had meetings at the office. We made
Oh.
guidelines when we work with new graphic
What are you
designers.
doing about it? That's the question.
What are you
This is also part of the problem that xQc is running into is the fact that, again, the H3 podcast is run by like several different fucking people. They have an entire fucking team behind him, right? So they're able to just bring shit up on repeat. Like they're able to just bring up different shit constantly. What they're doing in the background right now is looking through like xQc's old videos or looking through fucking Twitter, fucking all of his social media bullshit, all that bullshit just to find more stuff to use against him in this topic while he's sitting here trying to talk on the current topic. They've already got 2 topics in the fucking gun loaded ready to go and 2 fucking points to make, whereas xQc has to just rely on himself. It makes it a lot more difficult.
doing?
Okay. So if you guys stop bombarding and you actually listen to the
This
answer.
isn't bombarding.
Answer.
I'm
Stop
talking.
with the fucking
I'm
posturing.
defending my
You
company.
don't just answer the question. You don't need to do these. He's like, if you'll stop interrupt, just answer the fucking question, bro. Nobody cares.
Fine. Okay. I'll answer the question.
Okay.
So what you are agreeing with me is that sometimes, right, there's gonna be a mistake. There's gonna be something that somebody doesn't want.
Daily
and you'll
basis with you.
Go on.
And you will rectify it after the fact, in hindsight, correct?
Yes.
What we did is not okay. You continue to do it on a daily basis several times.
It would be different if I came here and I said, I don't care. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm distributing to those guys who made the original graphic. I'm making their life better while I'm sitting in a Gucci shirt, you know?
Okay. Yeah, that's like $1,000. Here's what it is.
I know.
Exactly. Which I don't know why you would bring that up. To be honest, that's kind of you want to talk about
Wait,
low-hanging
what?
fruit.
I thought it was a
That is
good point because you're taking.
Because you're saying
Hold
that
on,
you
let's
care.
Let's answer the question. You do nothing to rectify it while we do. So go ahead. What are you doing about it on a daily basis?
Every single person that has brought a negative point about the videos.
But you don't
about
change
everything-
what you do.
We have. Well, absolutely, we
You
have.
literally said, "I don't care,"
Oh yeah, but I still do the right thing though.
which is what?
Right. Which is work to make better thumbnails, better description, and to better work with the creators that are behind the video, so that we don't fuck them
See,
over.
the moment he
and
brings that
actually
up, he
gain full
starts
credit.
looking through his
Now,
fucking
I'm talking
YouTube.
with Hila for a minute. So what you're
Immediately.
saying is that you're repairing from hindsight, which is something that even try to get at me at, right? And then you brought the fact that we have 30 employees to help us out. Okay, fair enough. Then xQc, or whatever the corporate company, parent company is, right? Well, we only have like 2 employees, 2 editors, right? And help us out, guys. Like, this is so sad. We only have 2 guys. We're playing the victim card here, right? Well, they sometimes make mistakes too, right?
It hasn't happened to us in a long, long time since we took action. This just happened to you on a daily basis. Just
I think the difference, if I can say, is that I've been listening, and when Ethan is asking you about this, for example, you don't say that this is wrong. The thumbnail, the matching thumbnail and title, you say.
I honestly think that it would have been a much more interesting discussion if it would have been Hila instead of fucking Ethan. I think Hila's a lot smarter than Ethan. Like, unironically, I think, like, Hila sits down and it actually becomes, like, somewhat interesting again, right? Like, they actually start talking, like, xQc and Hila can actually discuss something, and they can, like, find some common ground, and, like, you know, they can, like, bounce shit off of each other. Whereas, like, Ethan is just, like, trying to fucking get these gotcha moments. Like, Hila doesn't really care about these gotcha moments. I've noticed that in other debates, too. Like, the moment Ethan gets into this fucking mode of just like, oh, I'm just here to fuck around and fucking troll people, like, because he's not intelligent enough to actually hold a discussion or a debate. But Hila is actually kind of, I don't know a lot about her because I've only caught like snippets of her being in the podcast. But Hila's actually seemingly pretty intelligent, so she just kind of like will sit there and like actually flow through a discussion. Like, she knows how to talk to people. It seems she's capable of like, okay, well, if you say this, like, what about like can we agree on this? Like, what are, like, she's answering an interesting question, or she's asking interesting questions of like, okay, so like what are you doing to help rectify the situation? Because earlier you said you're just not doing anything, and I think they go on to like xQc saying like, I'm trying to create better thumbnails, do this, do that, and she's like, okay, well that sounds a lot better than what you did say earlier. Like, you understand that? Like, that's a different perspective than just I don't care. And like Ethan just continues to like throw in random fucking moral jabs.
I did it because I like it.
No, he says they're working on better thumbnails.
So it's the answer has changed now. If this is your answer, that sounds a lot better.
The only reason why it's changed, okay, is that I'm trying to make a bold point for him to latch off the fact that he's on the fucking high road. He's on the high road of the whole process. Okay,
that's your problem.
When you are on the high road, it is a thin fucking road on the high road. Okay,
she sits there and actually listens.
What you do, the things that you say, and how you act. Right.
I think he's doing fine. He's live every day for hours.
Please. I'm talking to Ethan, or you don't interrupt me. Okay. So now you're taking the high road. Okay. You have to be really tight in how you operate. Right. So we say things like, oh well, he does this, and I never do this. Right. Well, you are wrong, and I just told you.
You haven't proven that.
What? Okay. So the designs you sold. That's called being a thief. A thief, piece of shit, garbage.
Yes, that was not right when that happened. Okay. It hasn't happened in a long time, and we actually made efforts to prevent it. You have not. You said your efforts to prevent it is better thumbnails and titles, bro. This is your example of better thumbnails and titles. This was 2 weeks ago. Same name, same fucking thumbnail. The guy you did the experiment says, change my thumbnail, change the name so that my audience doesn't get confused and so that you don't steal my views. Why are you denying that? It's so obvious.
Okay. So like I said,
answer the question.
What's the question?
The question is, how is it that you can deny that you're stealing views and intentionally misleading audience to clicking your fucking video?
Intentionally? That is not intentional.
How is? Oh my god. Is it possible?
Go ahead.
Let's say someone comes from your stream. They've watched you all day. They love you. They're a big fan. They watched you react to, let's say, Mr. Beast's new video. Okay. Yeah. And then they come to the homepage, and guess what they see there? Mr. Beast's new video. Do you think are they less likely or more likely to click his video after they saw it on your channel? Answer the question, dude.
Well,
more or less likely?
Okay.
No. Just answer. One or the other. Two choices.
Less. Got him.
Yeah. Did.
Damn. So then
that proves that you're stealing.
Wait. Oh, this is such a shitty argument because people who do like argumentative responses, right? Like people that watch this video that I'm doing that is transformative, I am like outlining where xQc and Ethan are both failing at this discussion and like actually adding in my own input to it. This video is transformative, right? Would there be any reason if people watch this one to then go watch the normal live video, or not the live video, but the highlight video of this live interaction? Would there be any reason for them to go do that? Most likely not. Are they more or less likely to go watch the original video now that they've seen the entirety of the video with my commentary added into it? Most likely no. So you can't use that as like, oh, see, that's just proof you're stealing. Like, what? Anytime let's say any YouTubers are like in a little beef or they're fucking arguing back and forth via videos, right? You're sub to one of those two sides. You watch those responses, right? Are you more or less likely to watch, like after you watch your side's response video, are you more or less likely to go then watch the original video that they were responding to? Are you more or less likely to do that? You are way less likely. That doesn't mean it's theft, though. That's not a good argument, because that would be every video ever. Like, I don't understand, unless you're making like entirely fucking new content. Like, you couldn't ever talk about anything anybody else has ever done at that point. Like, that's such a fucking wild thing to say.
Views intentionally.
Okay,
Thank you, bro.
So the views and the click rate on that particular instance, do you think that will end up being a raw loss to the creator or not?
Sorry?
Are we done talking about Teddy Fresh?
Yeah, if we're done talking about Teddy Fresh, it'd be better because I don't want to feel like we're getting up.
Get out, thief, before I fucking Robin Hood this shit. Before I start spreading the wealth of your company to other people. Holy shit, I'm gonna come at you guys for things and designs. Jesus Christ, bro.
You're being pretty silly, but ours is defensible. Yours is not. Or at least we've made, it's not defensible, but anyway, you know what? I mean, I don't see this conversation going much.
Guys, it is defensible thievery, guys.
It's
stealing in the right way.
No, I retracted that as soon as I said it, right? What you heard. I said we've corrected the error.
The rabbit is the true star of this entire show.
One that you refuse to remedy after time and time again. You provide me zero direct answers, and frankly, I think you know you're wrong, and I think you don't care that you're wrong because it benefits you greatly. You make a lot of money. You don't want to change what you do. And here's another thing: you're not going to be able to make 12 hours of content for a kick who paid you $100 million if you can't steal other people's content. Because if you don't, what the fuck are you going to do? All day sit there and gamble? Nobody's going to watch that shit. Nobody's gonna watch this shit already. They don't care about you even have arguments. Clearly, you're not very good at that.
People
You
are
lost
gonna
12
sit there
viewers.
and
Man.
watch that shit. What?
My views are very.
Wait, aren't you aren't you one of the dudes who was like fucking shitting on people like xQc for going to kick because they're backed by a fucking gambling company? And you're like, oh, like it'll fucking make kids more likely to fucking gamble and shit, and like it's fucking gambling culture, blah 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 blah. Wait, didn't you? But you just said that nobody's gonna watch him gamble. What? If nobody's gonna watch him gamble, then what does it matter if he does gambling streams or if he's on a platform that supports gambling?
Pretty good right now, by the way.
So I don't need like a therapist to give us a hint on when the tantrum ends. When does it end, Ethan? It seems like when you go on these tangents, you go on a rampage, you just ramble and ramble, without making a concise point or a question. Is it you're done with that shit? Can we talk like adults now or not?
No.
I think this conversation has kind of been exhausted.
People would rather watch me full stream cam do the fucking worm.
Do
watch
that,
your prime,
bro.
watch your
Do
prime
it for a
content.
week. Do a week of no reaction content and see how many fucking views you get. Oh, he's crying in the corner. Oh, okay, sure. I mean, that's
he
content,
instantly
man.
goes to you're crying in the corner. What a fucking
do that, bro.
loser.
Do it. Dude, do a
I
week.
fucking love it, man.
Bro,
This is the most money back in the past fucking 4 years, bitch.
It's awesome. Do a week of no react content.
Oh man. Oh,
even a
man,
day.
man.
Even a day.
Okay.
Do one day without react content. I'm serious.
Hey, Ethan, let's see your wife's merch sales on the first wave when 90% of designs were stolen.
90%.
Let's see the figures.
Wait, hold on. You're just being silly, bro.
Yeah, those are just really bad things to just bring up.
Is on you now, right? Because if you make an argument, then you have to prove it. Go ahead, prove it.
You haven't even.
xQc's just going off, bro. He's just fucking pissed off. He's just throwing things at the wall and hoping something sticks.
I mean, what? Dude, you're being silly, bro. You're being ridiculous.
Well, it seems like I have to prove everything, and you have to prove nothing.
That's not at all what's been happening.
And you've done nothing except prove some different.
All right, thank you. It was a good chat. I think that we've done a good job at getting to the heart of what you care about and how you feel about taking people's videos. I think it was illuminating. I think we had a really
See, again, you're just gonna nitpick on this fucking like moral high ground bullshit. That's the crux of your entire argument, Ethan.
good conversation.
Oh my God, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you have anything else interesting to say, so I think we can wrap it up.
Really? I think the audience thinks I have something interesting to say. It's just the problem is that you're running.
How long do you want me to sit here and listen to you, watch you crawl around on the ground like a worm? I have a show to do, dude. Unlike you, I actually fucking organize and put work into my show. I understand for you, you're just burning time. You could sit here for 12 hours. That'd make your life easier. You wouldn't have to go steal videos. But me, I planned this. I have a show. I have a schedule. This has stopped being interesting because you're just sitting there saying silly shit and doing the worm. So with that being said, thank you for calling. I feel like it was very illuminating, and I wish you the best, and I hope you have a great stream. Oh, one more question. I wanted to ask him, who is Mr. Chair? Mr. Chair is... Here, actually, I'll show this. Fuck. I wanted to ask him that.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. That was not going anywhere. But here, for the people still watching, here's him talking about Mr. Chair.
I have a concept in my chat called Mr. Chair. If I'm gone and watch a video and I leave, Mr. Chair watches the video for me. And chat fucking loves Mr. Chair more than they like me. Chat hates me.
That means that they like the original video, the views of which you're stealing. But he's saying, yeah, I just walk away in my chair. My chair.
Jesus Christ, that's not what that means at all. Holy shit. It's a known fucking streamer joke when they fucking walk away. Like, even if they're playing a game, even if they're, like, doing a political discussion, like, no matter what, if they walk away, like, everybody starts fucking chanting in chat, like, Mr. Chair. Like, it's just a thing that happens throughout all of Twitch. I don't know what it's very obvious that you don't catch much Twitch there, Ethan.
Does the work for me.
They love Mr. Chair, okay? And for them, that has value. And I think that can't be understated.
The chair adds value. The chair. He said the chair, the empty chair adds...
No, that's just a good example of, like, the community, of, like, it just being such a massive fucking meme that, you know, at some point, Twitch streamers have to, you know, get up and take a fucking piss or, you know, grab a fucking drink or something, and they're like, Mr. Chair, featuring Mr. Chair, it's so good. Like, it's just a community thing that, like, it's just funny.
Value. How can I have a conversation with this guy? The truth is that he wants to be radically honest about what he's doing. He wants to say, I don't care about this. I'm doing it. I don't care. He wants to make a million. He wants to make a million exceptions. Oh, if they come to me, I'll pay them. Putting the fucking onus on the victim to come to him, the biggest content creator in the world, where there's a huge power dynamic. The one guy I did talk to, Vince, says he doesn't want the heat. And of course, why would he, right? I mean, he's clearly not very stable to begin with. I mean, he hasn't slept in a fucking day. And so sending him a complaint could easily backfire on somebody. And he wants to be radically honest about it. But when it comes time to explain what he's doing is wrong, he won't own it.
Wait. Remember that whole, you know, I don't know if I've done any wrong because there's no victims because no one's come forward?
Radically honest up to a point where you say, why are you naming it the same title and the same thumbnail as their video? Because I wanted to. He can't go there because he knows he's wrong.
Yeah, that one's pretty fucking difficult.
Sorry, but it's true.
That one's pretty difficult to defend, borderline impossible. But the defense that he can levy against you is the fact that, for one, you just straight out throw that it's, you know, the only reason to do that would to cannibalize the other views, when in reality there's a completely legitimate reason of just laziness, of just, I didn't feel like fucking creating another thumbnail or some shit, which honestly, if you have editors, XQC, if you have editors and they're being just like that boring with it, like they're just that lazy, you need to get new editors, man. You need to fucking, like, if you're paying these motherfuckers, which I assume you are, you need better editors.
And I mean, the reason I was asking about another point I didn't get to finish was, why does it matter if I'm a hypocrite? Why does that matter? We're having a conversation, a philosophical conversation about fair use, about using people's content. I am trying to stay on the topic and have a productive, useful, philosophical question. If he's like, you're a hypocrite, how does that? And by the way, I addressed everything he said, okay?
Because your entire argument is that you stand on the moral high ground. So if you are a hypocrite and you do the exact same thing and you suffer from the exact same faults, then how can you possibly come at him and be like, hey, you're an awful human being? You would have to walk back that whole fucking little fucking tangent you went on about like how he's an awful fucking prolific thief.
I just wanted to understand where he was coming from. If I'm a hypocrite, how does that enhance or change the debate we're having? He's literally just deflecting. That's all he was doing the whole time. So it was about as productive as I thought it would be, but what do you guys think?
It's funny.
I mean, I had to hang up on him. This was not, like I said, he's got a 12 hours to burn.
Yeah. I don't know. We brought like a victim, like a good example of him stealing it from a
paid actor, bitch.
Yeah.
Paid
He said paid actor.
Yeah.
That's the funny.
I mean,
So
he's memeing. Like
That's
it's.
His first response is, it's a paid actor.
That's awesome.
And then his second response is, oh, well, he doesn't matter. He's just one person.
Yeah.
He's so content brained.
And then he goes, well, where's all your victims? And I says, I don't know. It's possible I've done it, yeah. But like,
Well, he
people
was
don't
trying to make
complain to me every week.
Right, yeah. I mean,
People don't come to me every week and say, please stop doing this. Or Twitter drama, or people constantly telling him, hey, this isn't cool. And he does it.
He also like laid out exactly what he could do to remedy the situation, and then like clearly didn't mean
Who
any
the
of
fuck
it.
are you?
But like he said, I'm gonna make an effort to like make my thumbnails different, blah blah blah, and then like the argument flipped on its head because he wouldn't ground himself in any
Actually, he
argument.
didn't say that. He says improve his thumbnails.
Oh, improve.
Which
yes.
is from 2 weeks ago, literally a carbon copy.
Yeah, they're all.
With there's only one explanation for that.
Literally.
To siphon views. Period, dude.
Yeah.
Yep. Again, you're just gonna make that same argument when
All
in
he has to do
reality
is
it
tell
could
his
just be
editors to make it look
laziness.
different. Like that's all he has to do.
But they don't want to.
Right.
Because they're lazy. And they
Right.
don't want to change. And it's easy. And he likes things that are easy.
And he won't admit that.
He's against putting work into things. Dude, fucking paid actor.
Wait,
That's
but,
crazy.
but he isn't the one. You do realize he's not the one that is making the thumbnails and the videos for his YouTube, right? He even said he has 2 editors. I really doubt that XQC is streaming for like fucking 12 hours and then is like fucking in the background just editing videos as well. Like I don't think that's a thing.
Crazy.
how much did you pay that guy?
You know who?
Out of curiosity.
I swear to God,
The big bucks.
there was I had a list of a few people that I sourced from his recent reactions, and of the list, there was one person that followed me. This guy Vince. By the way, I did want to say about Vince that he is a super talented. Vince Vintage is a super talented creator that you all should please go check out and subscribe
Let's
to.
watch one of his videos. He's good.
Here, I'll pull it up, but his videos are really great, and I mean it's straight from his mouth. You know what I mean? I don't know what else to say about it.
Why wouldn't
This
you
is a video he
show
reacted
that
to, and
then?
this is another video he reacted to, both with the identical thumbnail and the identical title. And it's okay. Like, I know he's a piece of shit. He doesn't care, and that's fine. But he can't admit it. Only to a point, right? And then it's you're a hypocrite, so it doesn't matter. Nothing matters because you're a hypocrite. How does me being a hypocrite matter at all to this conversation?
Jesus fucking crazy. Because it's so painful. Because you are taking the moral high ground. Your entire argument essentially is the moral high ground. You are saying that he doesn't care about this, doesn't care about that. So therefore you're making moral arguments. You're making ethical arguments. You're not sitting there like debating the law because you said, well, you don't care about the law. You don't care about small content creators, blah, 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 blah. But yet somehow you being a hypocrite would not matter at all. It would not be a factor into this conversation. It's fucking ridiculous, Ethan. But I mean, again, I expect nothing less out of Ethan. Let's be real. So that's gonna do it for me. There's nothing left of this fucking video. There's a lot of Twitter fucking drama going on about it post this. There's some DMs shared back and forth that Ethan shot out there into the world of like fucking XQC sending him a fucking picture of his watch or some shit and is like, this is how does it feel to know that I have your entire fucking house on my fucking wrist and shit like that, which is hilarious but not really important. So yeah, that'll be it for me. Hopefully this goes up here in the next few hours. I'm probably going to do a small bit of editing to it and then throw it up on YouTube. So if you liked it, of course, do all those, those wonderful things of like, comment, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Check out my Twitch because normally I'll do things like this on my live stream. Unfortunately, I just don't have time to do a live stream today. Hopefully we get some more time throughout the week. But yeah, go ahead, follow my Twitch so that you can be informed when we do go do some live content, and you can be in the chat and hang out with us there. But I will catch you all in the next one.